Chapter 103. Do you want to go down? Yes. Han Fei knew very well that in a mysterious place like the ocean, opportunities had to be found. Han Fei fell directly, and some small white shrimps and octopuses fled in panic around him. But the more he went down, the more Han Fei felt a little excited, and a little nervous. About another 100 meters down, Han Fei saw a concave and convex hexagon. Picture. When Han Fei saw it clearly, he swam up dozens of meters and his face changed. He saw a starfish, F***CK your starfish, and a 50-meter-long hexagonal starfish. Shit, what the hell is this? Han Fei immediately had a guess in his heart. Why didn't Li Ju touch this place? Weird, 2F***king weird. There were very few fish around, and the rock wall was not suitable for big green crabs to live in. But in the open space next to the starfish's tentacles, he saw some crab shells. Yes, the seabed grotto is such a special place. The Heaven Village has been here for hundreds of thousands of years. It's impossible that they haven't found this place, but why hasn't anyone come here? Who dares to come here? Such a big starfish. Who dares to come here? Although he was scared, the starfish didn't seem to move. Han Fei descended a little more, and a series of information appeared in his eyes. Name, hexagon starfish, weak. Level, 36, quality, mysterious. Introduction, a mysterious creature. Hexagon starfish, extremely rare. It treasures as much as its life. Because it searches for treasures everywhere, it is called a moving treasure. Its 6 horns can emit strange beams of light, and 6 void gates will appear. You may get an opportunity or die if you enter any of them. Be careful. Contains spiritual energy greater than 4,200 points, edible effect, inedible, collectible, none, absorbable, Han Fei gasped. A level 36 creature? Are you kidding me? This is an ordinary fishery, not a level 3 fishery. Okay? Han Fei's face darkened. No wonder no one dares to explore this place. How can this thing be explored? It's completely beyond the scope of my ability. This was the second mysterious creature Han Fei had seen besides the twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish. This kind of thing was basically a legend in the sea. Han Fei shook his head. Forget it. I'll come back to this weird place when I'm strong enough. I'll be dead if I go there now. Moving treasures? I have to be able to afford them. Just when Han Fei was about to leave, he saw Little Black jump out with a swish, heading straight for the hexagon starfish. Han Fei's face changed drastically. Little Black, come back. Han Fei was really worried about Little Black. Are you afraid of nothing and want to see everything? However, when Little Black was about 4 or 5 meters away from the hexagon starfish, the surrounding seawater suddenly trembled, and then Han Fei felt that he was about to pee his pants. Near the center of the hexagon starfish's back, 6 big eyes suddenly opened. Han Fei's blood froze. He was right. Those were the eyes, and they were staring at Little Black. Little Black seemed to be scared by this thing too, and stopped swimming. Its 2 small fish eyes stared at the 6 big eyes of the fish. Han Fei felt that there were tens of thousands of ironhead fish galloping in his heart. The 2 mysterious creatures only looked at each other for a while, and then the 6 eyes slowly moved and looked in Han Fei's direction. Han Fei panicked, but facing the hexagon starfish's gaze, Han Fei still raised his hand and waved at it, as if to say that he didn't have any idea at all. Don't look at me. You're making me scared. However, the hexagon starfish obviously didn't understand Han Fei's meaning. Immediately, purple light burst out from its 6 antennae at the same time and went straight to the top of the grotto. Little Black, run. Han Fei swam up desperately. As long as he ran away, Little Black could be taken back. At this moment, Han Fei was so focused that he might not even believe it himself. He had mastered the wandering dragon art and swished so fast that he didn't look like a human at all. BM. He was about to reach the top and Han Fei was about to go out, but in the next second, he hit an invisible wall of nothingness. It's over. It's over. It's over. Human? Who's talking? Han Fei looked around in panic and then looked down, but he couldn't see the hexagon starfish anymore. Human, come down. This voice appeared directly in Han Fei's mind, and Han Fei immediately responded, I'm not going down. If you want to go out, there's only one way. What's the way? Han Fei was horrified. No one told me that sea monsters could talk. He could even hear the responses in other people's minds. Do you want to get the treasure? I don't want to. Hexagon Starfish. Hexagon Starfish asked, don't you humans all like opportunities? I can give you opportunities. Don't bully me because I'm not well educated. Your six-pad sect is doomed. I'm just a fishing master. What level are you? Huh? How do you know? It seems that you are the one I'm waiting for. What do you mean? Don't fool me. I'm not. Hexagon Starfish asked, why are you so afraid of death? Huh? Those who are not afraid of death are already dead. As long as you are a creature below level 20, I'm not afraid of you. I can fight you with a stick. But Brother Starfish, look at your level. Is it fun to bully a little fishing master like me? Don't worry. Your spiritual beast is my kind. I will really give you an opportunity. I don't believe it. Then are you going to suffocate to death at the bottom of the sea? I remember you humans need to breathe, right? Han Fei thought to himself, how does it know this? That's ridiculous. Why is it so familiar with humans? Master Hexagon Starfish, can you let me go? Then come down. I've given you the opportunity. It's up to you how to choose. Han Fei's face changed several times, as if he had returned to the first question. Yes. Han Fei came down again with a sad face. He had to come down. Just as the Hexagon Starfish said, if he didn't come down, he would suffocate to death. Although he could hold it for a long time, he would still die in the end. The purple light was still there, as if forming a large net, completely covering the cave. I have been here for 300 years. As long as it is possible, I will not give my treasures to you. Han Fei didn't believe it. Can't you get out? Hexagon Starfish scoffed. Do I look like I can get out of here? Then why are you here? The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a while. 300 years ago, when I was still young, I was caught and brought here. That person set up a restriction array here, and I couldn't escape. He said that he might come back later, or might not be himself, but his apprentices who came back, and he said that he could release me. Until today, many people have come here, and I think they are all his apprentices. Unfortunately, these people either ran away or were trapped by me and entered my door. What about those people who went in? Did they get the treasures? The Hexagon Starfish was silent again. Not yet. Han Fei was speechless. What do you mean, not yet? Don't you know whether you can get out or not? Well, Master Hexagon, how about we make a deal? When I become a dangling fisher, I will come back to help you out. How about that? I'm just a fishing master, but I don't have the ability. That person left 5 opportunities in my 6 doors. If you're related to that person, you may be able to get them. Then what about the last door? That's my own treasure. If you can let me out, I can give a treasure to you. Master Hexagon, then tell me who that person is first. I will go find him and become his apprentice, and then I will let you out immediately when I come back. This is a more reasonable logic. I can't just let go of the treasure. The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a while. It seems to make sense, but I don't know what his name is. I only know that he has a beard. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I'll go to the sky to find this person for you. Beard, our village leader, still has a beard. Old Jiang also has a beard. Chao Fei also has a beard. It seems that everyone in the world has a beard. I'll find someone to let you out, okay? I know an old Jiang, who is a very powerful spirit gatherer and can control water. Read 2. Chapter 104. If I let you go, you won't come back. I promise I won't run away. I will definitely come back. The Hexagon Starfish replied, that person said the same thing, but he has been gone for 300 years. Han Fei cursed the bastard who imprisoned this thing 10,000 times in his heart. Why did you put this thing in an ordinary fishery? Do you think anyone in an ordinary fishery can survive it? Everyone here is a fisherman. Han Fei was silent for a long time. Can I breathe in your door? If I can't breathe, I will die after a long time, and then no one could save you. A bubble suddenly appeared in front of Han Fei, and Han Fei burst into tears. F***CKU. Actually, I just want to run away. If I want to breathe, I can actually go and forge the universe to breathe. Why can't I be sensible? However, Han Fei still took a deep breath of the air in the bubble. God knew if he would be able to breathe again in the future. Hexagon Starfish asked, "Are you ready?" "Not yet." "Then wait a little longer." "I've waited for 300 years. 1 or 2 years doesn't matter." Han Fei wanted to beat this thing to death. "Do you want to lock me up for 1 or 2 years?" Han Fei was indeed not mentally prepared, but his fear of the hexagon starfish was gone. So he asked, "Why can you speak in my head? Can all sea monsters over level 30 talk?" "I don't know. I was caught when I just reached adulthood, and I haven't seen anyone else who can talk. The fish and shrimps here are very weak and not enough to be food. In the past 300 years, haven't you encountered any mysterious creatures? Or legendary creatures?" "Hexagon starfish, no." "What's in your treasure house?" "How about I go to your treasure house first? Let me tell you, I cultivate very fast. If I can make a breakthrough and improve my strength, maybe I can survive." The hexagon starfish was silent again. After a while, it said, "What do you lack? If you can't even survive one door, what's the point of giving you the treasure house? If you survive the first gate, I can let you go to my treasure." Han Fei snorted. This hexagon starfish is really bad. It wants me to let it out, but doesn't want to give me any treasures. At that time, Han Fei said casually, "I need a lot of spiritual energy, at least 100,000, 200,000 points of spiritual energy." "Yes, do you have any? If you have it, I can quickly increase my strength, and then I can enter the door." However, as soon as Han Fei said that, a mass of liquid appeared in front of him, surging with spiritual energy. He seemed to see the spiritual spring in the boat-burying pit. F***CK, is he that rich? Han Fei was dumbfounded. "I didn't mean it." Who knew that the blockhead would take it seriously? However, wasn't a bit too much for this thing to take out so much spirit spring water so casually? Hexagon starfish asked, "Can I?" Han Fei said helplessly, "Okay." Looking at the spiritual spring in front of him, Han Fei was helpless. "Fine, I'll improve it as much as I can." Otherwise, as a junior peak level fishing master, he didn't think it was possible for him to come out alive. Han Fei didn't refuse and sat cross-legged on the spiritual spring. Deduce. Under the gaze of the hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes, this mass of spiritual spring water was quickly entering Han Fei's body, causing its curious eyes to shake back and forth. It seemed to be very strange. How could a fishing master absorb so much spiritual energy? It knew that a fishing master couldn't absorb it, so it gave it to him. However, the hexagon starfish didn't take back the spiritual spring. Compared with being trapped here for 300 years, the spiritual spring water was not worth mentioning at all. Spiritual energy flashed on Han Fei's body. He didn't know that the whole sea's surface had been set off by strong winds and huge waves, covering thousands of kilometers and reaching hundreds of meters high. This was almost impossible to happen in ordinary fisheries, but now it happened. Unfortunately, Han Fei didn't know it himself. About half an hour later, void fishing was successfully deduced. Existing art, void fishing, level 2, hook god technique, remarks, the first universal art in ancient times, written by the 9 king-level masters in ancient times. When the book was completed, heaven and earth cried with the raging waves. It was the supreme of all arts. Although the art had been deduced successfully, it was not the time to practice it. Besides, cultivation was also for spiritual energy. The spiritual spring in front of him had only been reduced by half. Han Fei decided to practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing to see if it could continue to enhance the upper limit of his spiritual energy. If it couldn't, he would make a breakthrough. Before practicing, Han Fei took a look at his data and was surprised to find that there was a change. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 13, junior fishing master, spiritual energy greater than 90,006, 629, spiritual heritage, level 3, medium quality, upgradable, spiritual beast, twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fish, weapon, purple bamboo rod, main art, void fishing, volume 2, hook god technique, mysterious level, divine quality. Han Fei was stunned. The upper limit of his spiritual energy had been broken. The upgradable function of his spiritual heritage was activated again, and the void fishing had become mysterious level, divine quality. He immediately realized that it was all because of the cultivation art. When he became a fishing master, his cultivation art didn't upgrade, so the upgrade status of his spiritual heritage disappeared. Now that his cultivation art had been upgraded, the upgrade status of his spiritual heritage immediately appeared. In this way, the next time his spiritual heritage couldn't be upgraded, he would have to upgrade his cultivation art. When he saw the change in the upper limit of his spiritual energy, Hanfei immediately began to practice the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. For this reason, Hanfei began to drink the iron fish body polishing fluid. Hanfei's whole body was red, as if he was being steamed. After practicing 108 postures, he found that the upper limit of his spiritual energy had become 636 points. Twice. At first, every time he practiced 108 postures, the upper limit of his spiritual energy increased by 7 points, but later, when he practiced for the 5th time, it only increased by 4 points. There was less room for improvement. With a thought, Hanfei sat cross-legged again. Upgrade my spiritual heritage. Half an hour later, the hexagon starfish found that the spiritual spring it gave out was all absorbed by Hanfei. At this time, it couldn't calm down. You've absorbed a lot of spiritual energy. Except for the small increase in strength for the first time, your strength hasn't improved much. If this is all, why don't you enter the door first? You don't understand. Do you know what it means to accumulate a lot of spiritual energy? I'm accumulating it now, and it's almost done, but it's not enough. I still need 100,000 points of spiritual energy. This time, I really only need this much. If I still haven't made progress, you can give me no spiritual energy. The hexagon starfish was very hesitant. This guy eats spiritual energy too fast. It has been accumulating spiritual energy for a long time, but Hanfei ate a mass of it every now and then. How could this be enough? But after hesitating for a moment, the hexagon starfish still threw out a mass of spiritual spring. This is all I can give you for the time being. After all, in such a place with generally low life potential, it will be very difficult for me to absorb spiritual energy. I still need spiritual energy for my own use. Don't worry. Just wait and see. I won't let you down in a few days. With that, Hanfei began to make his strange postures again. You can only improve your physical strength in this way, but it's not much, but it's really useful. I hope you can really become stronger in a few days. 2 days later, Hanfei took a breath of air into the bubble. His upper limit of spiritual energy was stuck at 699 points, and he couldn't continue to improve it, so he stopped cultivating. The hexagon starfish asked, "Are you done? I don't see you using this spiritual energy. I'm going to use it now." Open your 6 big eyes and watch carefully. Breakthrough. That massive spiritual spring frantically poured into Hanfei's body, and Hanfei's momentum was indeed growing crazily as he said. The hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes kept rolling, seemingly surprised that Hanfei could really improve his strength. He seemed to have made a breakthrough. Hanfei was indeed making a breakthrough. His physical strength was improving, and his physique was getting better, especially his skin, which seemed to have become stronger. It wasn't until Hanfei broke through to the peak of an intermediate fishing master and the mass of spiritual spring was almost sucked dry that he slowly stopped. The hexagon starfish asked, "Can you go in now?" Hanfei was infuriated. "You only know how to urge me. Haven't you been waiting for 300 years? What's wrong with waiting a few more days? Don't worry. To ensure that I can save you successfully, I have to cultivate for another 2 days and stabilize my current realm." Read 2. Chapter 105. With that said, Hanfei moved his eyebrows and released Little Black and Little White. Little White swam to the remaining bit of spirit spring water and swallowed it all in one gulp. The hexagon starfish muttered, "Your spiritual beast is about to evolve." Little White swallowed the spiritual spring, and Hanfei secretly said, "Not bad. It's a good thing to take a free benefit." Then Hanfei looked at Little Black, who had flown to the hexagon starfish's tentacles and was biting them with his teeth. "Can you tell your spiritual beast not to bite me? He hasn't reached the juvenile stage yet and can't bite me." Hanfei was also embarrassed. Why does Little Black eat everything? Now your master is counting on this big starfish to survive. If he wants to bite me, he should wait until he is alive. Little Black, come back. Han Fei took back the two fish. Since this hexagon starfish could see Little Black, it meant that its level was very high, and it was a mysterious sea monster, so he had to be careful. If he slapped Little Black to death, who could he turn to? 5 days later, Han Fei practiced the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing 7 or 8 times again, and finally raised the upper limit of his spiritual energy to 799 points. Han Fei knew that he might not be able to make another breakthrough in a short time. Even if he stabilized his realm and made another breakthrough, the hexagon starfish wouldn't give him any more spiritual energy. Okay, open the door. The hexagon starfish was pleasantly surprised. Am I finally going in? 6 purple lights spread out like a fishing net, and gradually 6 purple portals appeared. Han Fei couldn't see inside, so he didn't know what he would encounter. Master Hexagon Starfish, what's the situation inside your portal? Can you tell me? The hexagon starfish replied, it's just another space. It's not big. The hexagon starfish wouldn't tell him. The point was that it really didn't know. I finally spent nearly 300,000 points of spiritual energy. I can't spend it in vain. Then which portal is the least dangerous? We have to start with the least dangerous one. Otherwise, if I die as soon as I go in, who will come to save you? Let me tell you, in the ordinary fishery, I'm afraid I'll be one of the strongest people you've ever seen. If I die, you'll have to wait for another 100 years for someone as strong as me to come. The hexagon starfish thought it made sense, so it said the second door on your left. Han Fei took a deep breath. He was ready. The crazy devil's rod, fury, and the fusion of his spiritual beast were ready at any time. With all these, he was much stronger than Li Gang. Han Fei even suspected that he could fight a junior great fishing master. If he couldn't even use this trump card, then he could only blame his bad luck. Phew, since I can't get out, I'll take a gamble and turn a bicycle into a motorcycle. Han Fei stepped in. The light and shadow changed, and a huge space appeared. Han Fei's blood froze as soon as he came in. This space was the size of a football field, and there were bones everywhere on the ground. Anyone would feel numb. Not human bones. This was swordfish bone, ironhead fish bone. Giggle, giggle. At this moment, the bones lying on the ground began to move. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of swordfish bones floated up in the distance. F***CK. Master Hexagon, let me out. Hey, brother, Hexagon. Hexagon. F***CKU. There was no door behind Han Fei, but a group of bubbles popped up from time to time, which should be for him to breathe, but the hexagon starfish didn't respond. Han Fei knew that he had been fooled. He was really a big idiot. He knew he couldn't come in. This thing was killing him. At this moment, tens of thousands of swordfish bones and ironhead fish bones here all floated up, and the eyes of these fish bones were glowing with a faint blue light. Shit, are these F***king ghost fish? Han Fei hurriedly covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover. He saw that some swordfish bones had already launched a charge at him. F***CKU when I get out? Without 1,000,000 points of spiritual energy, I won't be able to enter the gate again. BM. Han Fei swung his rod and hit a swordfish bone. It was not as powerful as he imagined, but the power of the bonefish was not weak, about the same as that of a junior fishing master. If he hadn't become an intermediate fishing master, he might not have been able to suppress it. BM, BM, BM. Han Fei swung the stick horizontally. He was using the sweeping stick to its fullest, using all the 3 major elements of chopping, sweeping, and stabbing. And his body made various weird angles to avoid the bonefish that were rushing at him. At first, he could still face dozens of them, but when the dense bonefish rushed at him, Han Fei couldn't dodge them. Clang, clang, clang. Clang, 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 damn. Damn, damn. Bam, bam. BM, F***CK. Han Fei didn't know how many swordfish bones stabbed him, nor how many times he was hit by the ironhead fish bones. In any case, he only knew that he was sent flying and was forcefully knocked into the air. Crazy devil's rod. Clang, clang, clang. While being stabbed, Han Fei punched and hit with the purple bamboo rod. In just a moment, hundreds of bonefish had been smashed, and Han Fei himself was even worse. Although these swordfish couldn't pierce his body, his muscles were sore because of being poked. The ironhead fish were even more terrifying. When they hit him, Han Fei felt that his internal organs were rolling. But Han Fei couldn't stop. If he didn't fight now, when he was knocked to the ground and couldn't fight back, how could he fight back? This scene was extremely tragic. After an hour, Han Fei's face was bruised and swollen. There was no place on his body that wasn't bruised, and his hand holding the purple bamboo rod was trembling. But what could Han Fei do? He took out a bottle of iron fish body polishing fluid and drank it. Kill. 3 hours later, Han Fei's entire body was sore. Every inch of skin that was poked was burning. It was so painful that he had forgotten the concept of pain. Fortunately, although Han Fei felt that he was about to fall apart, these fish couldn't really pierce him. They couldn't break his defense. On the contrary, his indestructible body was improving at an incredible speed. At this time, his muscles, bones, and internal organs were all under an incredible impact. Han Fei believed that if it were someone else, someone like Li Ju would definitely be killed in less than 5 minutes. What kind of freaking person was he? He had actually held on for a full 6 hours. Han Fei was struggling to hold on. He wanted to fuse with his spiritual beasts, but the fusion of spiritual beasts depended on the occasion. If his spiritual beast was some kind of mutant big turtle, it wouldn't be a big deal, but Little Black and Little White could only improve his attack and sharpness, but they had no advantage in defense at all. If he fused with them, he might have to bite the bones. How uncomfortable would that be? However, looking at the thousands of fish bones on the ground, Han Fei felt a little better. As long as he didn't die, he could try his best. 1 day later, Han Fei was numb. He didn't care about the impact of these bonefishes at all. His only purpose was to take away a bonefish every time he attacked. 2 days later, the number of bonefish in this space was reduced by more than half. 3 days later, only sporadic bonefish rushed to Han Fei. Han Fei just let them hit him and chopped them off. When the last bonefish was chopped off, Han Fei was instantly ejected out of this space. The hexagon starfish was excited. You survived. You survived. You must be that person's disciple. You must be. In fact, on the first day after entering, Han Fei had guessed that these bonefish seemed to exist specifically to help him cultivate the indestructible body. They couldn't break his defense, but they could stimulate the all-round progress and improvement of his body. It would be strange if this had nothing to do with Ren Tianfei. But Han Fei didn't move at the moment. He lay on the ground and glanced at the hexagon starfish. Give me enough air and let me sleep. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I can still stand when I enter the second gate. Okay, don't worry. Take your time to sleep. Han Fei slept for a day and a night. In his sleep, he felt that his muscles were jumping as if they had been hit by something, and his whole body trembled from time to time. When Han Fei opened his eyes again, he held the air mass and took a deep breath. Let me go to your treasure trove first. I need to see if there's anything suitable for me in it. Only then will I have a better chance to break the second gate. Read 2. Chapter 106. Han Fei didn't want to work for this big starfish stupidly. Since it saw hope, he had to get some benefits, right? The key was that the introduction said that this hexagon starfish was a mysterious creature that treasured treasures as much as its life, so it must value the treasures very much. If he didn't get them now, he would have to wait until he liberated it. At that time, he wouldn't be able to restrain a powerful sea monster. The hexagon starfish was a little resentful. Human, my treasure house has long been emptied by that person. There's nothing good left. If you can enter the other gates first, I can give you some more spirit spring water. Han Fei chuckled. I don't believe you. You are so evil. You want free labor? No way. Han Fei said, Master Hexagon Starfish, I think it's necessary for you to take me to your treasure house. If there is something that can improve my strength, it will greatly help me enter the other gates. Don't forget, I almost died in your first door. I called out to you for 3 days, but you ignored me. There are prohibitions in this gate. Even I don't know what's inside. I don't care. I'm going to see your treasures first. I promise I won't take many things away. The hexagon starfish replied, My treasures are really a bit small. Okay, You can go in, but you can only take 10 things at most. Otherwise, I think I can hold on for another 2 years. Han Fei's face turned black. Sure enough, treasures are treasures. A gate as big as a football field. And you only give me 10 things? Han Fei thought about it. Fine, 10. In any case, there were still 4 more doors at the back. You could take a little first, and then bluff the ones at the back. Han Fei said, okay, I'm just going in to see if there is anything that can improve my strength. Among the 6 gates of the hexagon starfish, the purple net on one of them disappeared, revealing a dark, empty gate. Han Fei stepped in. The big starfish didn't have to trick him. After all, it was still waiting for him to let it go. Han Fei felt his eyes light up, and the flashing golden light almost blinded him. Fuck! Looking at the mountains of gold and shining stones in front of him, Han Fei couldn't stay calm anymore. Han Fei asked, Master Hexagon Starfish, didn't you say you took away all your treasures? Why are there still so many of them? All the good things have been taken away by that person, but you can't take away the golden stones. You could take something else. You could take 10 of those that don't shine. Han Fei was amused. Why is she the same as the legendary dragons? He only liked to collect shiny things, but what was the use of gold? It was a treasure on Earth, but here, it was just an ordinary piece of metal. The area of this space was also the size of a stadium, and the gold and glittering stones occupied most of the space. Han Fei casually picked up a fist-sized diamond. Is it really a diamond? Hexagon starfish, no. It can glow. This thing is worthless. Except for its good looks, it has no special features. Why do you want it? I like shiny things. Han Fei tossed the diamond into the pile of rocks. He had no interest in these random things. Walking around the stone mountain, Han Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. So the good stuff was really taken away. Damn it. What the hell are the rest of them? It was a pile of sticks, probably picked up from the bottom of the sea. However, as his main weapon, Han Fei certainly wouldn't let go of the sticks. Huh, isn't this He Xiaoyu's bamboo stick? No, it's not as good as my purple bamboo stick. Huh, I've never seen this red stick before. Han Fei's eyes flickered. Red lotus stick, mortal level, mid-quality, made of natural red lotus wood, slightly increases strength when used. Han Fei threw it aside. Mortal level, mid-quality is nothing to me anymore. Han Fei continued to search. Fire bamboo, mortal level, high quality, natural fire bamboo, not polished or refined, will erupt with high temperature when used. Cyan mystic stone, mortal level, high quality, the best material for refining mortal level weapons. Blue jade, mortal level, high quality, long-term or cannot be afraid of high temperature and cold, can be refined. Han Fei glanced at them one after another. Some he could see and some he couldn't. But they were basically all mortal level materials, which seemed to be useless to him. Huh, and a fishing rod? Black iron rod, mortal level, high quality, made of millennium black iron and blood spider silk, can increase fishing probability. Han Fei was stunned. A mortal level, high quality fishing rod? He thought for a moment. He was only using fine iron fishing rods, which were not even mortal level. So Han Fei took this black iron rod without hesitation. Han Fei continued to search for gold and various gems. He threw away the so-called treasures one by one like throwing garbage. Huh, purple jade? Han Fei saw the first purple stone and a purple bone, which seemed to grow out of the bone. Purple jade, rare quality spiritual jade, made of the marrow of the purple gold arowana bone, can be refined into a rare quality magic weapon. Han Fei's eyes lit up. This was the first time he had seen a material better than mortal level. He had to keep it. He also glanced at the purple bone. Purple gold arowana bone, rare quality. The bone of the purple gold arowana bone can be refined into a treasure or ultra-quality magic weapon. Wow, there are 2 of them. It seems that there is something here. Han Fei also found a small black token under the bone. It was black and had the word prison written on it. He thought for a while. This kind of thing was probably extraordinary, so he could keep it. Human, all the good things have been taken away. How about I give you 2 golden beads, and you come out first? Han Fei chuckled. Is there a problem with my head? What's the use of golden beads? Don't worry. Let me take a look. It took Han Fei half an hour to open the gold mountain. As soon as he opened it, Han Fei's eyelids twitched. There was a big tripod hidden inside. Han Fei immediately smiled. You could have just hidden the treasure under the golden mountain, but you still dug it out for me. This big black tripod was actually not big. It was less than 1 meter high, had 3 feet, and had 3 fish-shaped side pillars on the top. But to Han Fei's surprise, the demon purification pot didn't give any reaction. Forget it. This big starfish is very bad. It must be good stuff since it was hidden so secretly. Han Fei quickly took out the gold, diamonds, and colorful gems in the tripod. The hexagon starfish was anxious. This is just a useless broken pot. I use it to put shiny things. It's okay. I don't mind. I only look for treasures. Huh. When Han Fei took out all the things in the tripod, he found that there was a black bead at the bottom. Han Fei seemed to realize something and immediately said, "This bead is not shiny. I'll take it." The hexagon starfish said almost at the same time as Han Fei, "That bead was with me when I was born. I can't give it to you. You said I could choose it by myself. I don't want anything else. This bead is just a useless bead." Han Fei thought to himself, "Who are you kidding? First you put a gold mountain on it, then you hid it in the tripod, and then you stuffed other things into the tripod. Ren Tianfen, who robbed this treasure, probably didn't even bother to look through it. Otherwise, this thing probably wouldn't have fallen into his hands." The point was that in his eyes, this bead showed 3 question marks. Han Fei stuck to his principle that all the question marks must be good. "Anyway, I'll take this black bead. It's not shiny. It's like an iron ball. Why do you want it? But you promised me 10 things, and I just took the 6th. I don't want to last 4. After a long time, the hexagon starfish responded, "I'll give you something in exchange. No, this bead is mine. I won't lie to you. This is a black bead, a mysterious object. It's not of much use to you humans, but it can increase the mysterious characteristics of mysterious creatures like us. I have little black." The hexagon starfish replied, "That little black fish's talent is stronger than mine, so this black bead is dispensable to it. If you don't believe me, you can ask it to come out and have a look." Han Fei was puzzled. With a flash between his eyebrows, little black and little white came out. Han Fei put the black bead in front of little black. "Is this good?" Little black stepped forward, circled it several times, spat a few mouthfuls of saliva, and then ran to play with little white. Han Fei thought he had picked up a treasure and couldn't help frowning. "Then what will you give me in exchange? I don't want ordinary things." Beside him, a pile of gold and gems suddenly shook, and then a small black seal floated in front of Han Fei. Read 2. Chapter 107. Han Fei reached out and grabbed the little black seal, but as soon as he grabbed it, he knelt on the ground. Fortunately, he let go of it in time, or his hands would have been smashed by this thing. F***CK. Master Hexagon, why didn't you tell me this thing is so heavy? The water-stirring seal, ultra-quality magic weapon, is cast from the seabed water-stirring iron. It weighs more than 10,000 kilograms, but is as light as a feather after being collected. Water-stirring seal technique. Han Fei was tempted. Compared with this unknown black bead, he thought this little seal was awesome. The key was that it was as light as a feather after being collected. Then if I carry this thing and smash people, Han Fei didn't dare to imagine that scene. Even fishing masters might not be able to withstand it. This thing was simply a divine weapon. With it, he would basically be invincible in the level 1 fishery. Han Fei said, "Master Hexagon, I'll leave this little black bead to you." As for the other things in the hexagon starfish's place, Han Fei didn't care about them at all. All the good things had been taken away by Ren Tianfei, and the defective ones were left here. The hexagon starfish was very happy that this guy didn't rob him of his golden treasure. He thought Han Fei was a stupid cultivator, as stupid as that guy 300 years ago. The guy also took away some messy things. He didn't even know what those things were for. Anyway, he just took them away. Han Fei asked, "Master Hexagon, how do I take this little seal? I can't carry it." The hexagon starfish only needs a drop of essence blood to refine it. Take it away quickly. Take it away quickly? Han Fei seemed to have discovered something and exclaimed, Master Hexagon Starfish, you didn't give it to me because it was too heavy, did you? Seeing that the Hexagon Starfish didn't speak, Han Fei was even more sure. Yes, the weight of this little seal is as heavy as more than 10 tons of gold. He must have thought it was too heavy, but I didn't. Han Fei quickly dripped a drop of blood on the little seal. After the blood penetrated it, Han Fei seemed to feel something. But what should he do next? The Hexagon Starfish instructed, nourish it with your own spiritual energy. It will be very fast, just a few dozen seconds. Han Fei was once again sure that this big starfish must dislike this little seal. Otherwise, why would it urge him? A few minutes later, Han Fei walked out of the treasure trove, shaking the seal in his hand. The small seal felt almost nothing in his hand. It was as easy as using his twin knives. Apart from that, the small seal kept growing bigger and smaller. At its largest, it was 10 meters wide, but Han Fei felt that was because he was not strong enough to make it bigger. Get bigger, get smaller. TSK, I don't know if this can kill this big starfish. It shouldn't be possible. After all, it has been carrying this thing for so many years. If it couldn't bear it, it would have been crushed to death long ago. Interesting. While Han Fei was sneering, the Hexagon Starfish said, Human, shouldn't you go to the second gate? Han Fei pondered for a moment and realized that it made sense. If he encountered those bonefish again, Han Fei would be fearless. Bonefish? Ironhead fish? I'll make them kneel before me with a brick. Han Fei asked, Master Hexagon, will the bonefish in the second gate become stronger again? Let me tell you if I can't bear it. Let me out quickly and let's fight again another day. Don't leave me in there and ignore me. Otherwise, if I die, no one will let you go. The Hexagon Starfish replied, I can't perceive what's inside the gate. Of course, Han Fei didn't believe it. This big starfish was very naughty. Maybe it was watching the show. Then keep the gate open. If I can't bear it, I'll run out myself. The Hexagon Starfish replied, if someone goes in, it can't be opened, but you must be that person's disciple. You must be fine. In the past 300 years, no one has survived the first gate. You're the first. Han Fei took a deep breath and stood at the second gate. It's okay. Now my skin, flesh, organs, bones, and marrow have all been strengthened. Although I haven't mastered it yet, it should be no problem. Kill. Holding the water-stirring seal, Han Fei rushed in with all his might. However, the scene in front of him suddenly changed. The whole space was red, and he didn't even see a F*King fishbone. But just when Han Fei was puzzled, the red in the water began to boil like spiritual energy, and a large amount of red gas was drilling into Han Fei's body. Ouch! Hot! Itchy! Master Hexagon opened the gate. Brother Hexagon! F*CKU Hexagon! Help me! Han Fei almost cried. Where's the bonefish? F*CKU! He felt that he was almost cooked, as if being steamed in boiling hot water. His eyes were burning, and he couldn't open them. Most importantly, Han Fei felt that the surface of his body was being steamed, while the inside of his body seemed to be expanding. In just a few minutes, there was a rolling heat flow in his body, stimulating his flesh and blood. An hour later, Han Fei felt that his body was no longer his own, and the hot seawater was almost boiling him. He felt that he had grown taller and seemed to have gained weight, and his belly had become bigger. 2 hours later, Han Fei managed to adapt to this damn place, but the torture was still unbearable. It was as if someone was cutting his flesh with a knife, but the flesh didn't feel the pain anymore. Maybe he was used to it, or maybe he had a mental breakdown. Han Fei felt that he was on the verge of a mental breakdown at this moment. What made him collapse was not only this torture, but also that he found that he had gained weight again. 1 day later, if someone could see Han Fei, they would find that a ball appeared in this pale red water. Yes, it was the kind of ball that could be kicked. Han Fei felt that he was going to die, and his body seemed to be about to explode. In his body, there was a mass of explosive energy, which was not even spiritual energy, condensing into a red bead the size of a baby's fist and mixed with his dantian. 2 days later, the red bead was already the size of an adult's fist. Han Fei almost cried. I look like I'm pregnant. No, pregnant women can't be as fat as me. I look like a 999-kilogram fatty. The only thing that made Han Fei feel lucky was that the redness in the water was fading and seemed to become the bead in his belly. 3 days later, Han Fei's ball-like body began to gradually become thinner, but in the end, when Han Fei was ejected from the door, his whole body bounced on the ground 3 times. Han Fei didn't get up, nor did he speak. He just lay on the ground, holding his belly with his hand. If Han Fei was a very handsome teenager before, now he was an ugly obese patient. If he had to use a quantifier to describe him, Han Fei used to be a 99-kilogram thin man, but now he was like a 999-kilogram fatty. The hexagon starfish muttered, "You become fatter. Go away. I don't want to talk to you. I helped you out of the abyss of suffering, but you just watched me suffer such a huge injury. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Don't you feel guilty? Hexagon starfish. Your body has become stronger, much stronger. I don't want to. I want to lose weight. Look, you are that person's disciple. You survived, which shows that you are very different." Han Fei chuckled. "Do you know that I almost exploded in the door? When I was at my fattest, my belly was thinner than the shell of a small white shrimp. As long as a needle poked me, I would explode." Han Fei was very resentful and had cursed Ren Tianfei more than 10,000 times in his heart. "I just want to look for treasures. Why did you put a level 36 starfish here? Have you ever considered whether I can survive or not? If it were anyone else in the ordinary fishery except for them, they would have exploded a long time ago." Hexagon starfish asked, "What about the third door?" "I'm a fatty. In fact, the larger the body, the stronger you are. I'm a fatty. Do you want to take a day off?" "I'm a fatty." The hexagon starfish was immediately dumbfounded. "Can you just stop nagging? What's wrong with being a fatty? Did I eat your big yellow croaker?" Han Fei replied, "I'm not happy. I'm going to sleep. After sleeping, I'll change back." Then Han Fei kicked the ground, looked up, and muttered, "I'm a fatty. Read 2. Chapter 108. Han Fei realized that the environment in each gate was different. If the bonefish in the first gate devastated him, then the unknown liquid in the second gate made his spirit desperate. Sometimes he even felt that death was a happy thing, but he couldn't die at that time. Han Fei slept for another day. He had been down here for more than 10 days, but he felt as if he had died countless times. "Human, are you going to enter the third gate?" "Master Hexagon Starfish, do you know that you owe me a big favor? I don't want to continue this anymore." The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a moment. "If you can finish the other 2 gates, I can give you some more spiritual spring. Give it to me now. Are you going to cultivate again?" "No, I have to get the spiritual spring first so that I can feel safe." Sure enough, a mass of spiritual spring appeared in front of Han Fei, but it didn't seem to be much. However, Han Fei didn't care. Anyway, he was a fatty now. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. Just like the swallowed spirit soup, he could drink more than 30 bowls. However, unlike the swallowed spirit soup, which was mostly water in the stomach, the spiritual spring water would be converted into spiritual energy and stored. In the end, Han Fei looked at the increase of 50,000 points of spiritual energy and said reluctantly, "Master Hexagon Starfish, your spiritual spring is too little. It's only 50,000 points in total." The Hexagon Starfish almost cried. "Is this human a demon? Why is his stomach like a bottomless pit?" The Hexagon Starfish scoffed. "I have accumulated 300 years of spiritual energy, but you have used up 80 years of it. If you continue to use it, I will die." Han Fei's eyes lit up. "What? Does this big guy still have 220 years of spiritual spring left? This news is great. Master Hexagon Starfish, do you really not know what's in the gate? I haven't been able to check these doors since 300 years ago. There seems to be a barrier inside. I'm going to enter the third gate. I'll wait for you outside. I'll thank you, human. I accept your gratitude. So please give me the spiritual spring. You're fine now. Why don't you go in first?" Han Fei's eyes flashed, and he rushed at the third gate without hesitation. He didn't believe that there was a gate more terrible than the second gate. Maybe he would lose weight when he reached the third gate. Swish! As soon as Han Fei went in, he felt a pain in his butt. He looked back and saw a glowing arrow stuck in his butt. Then he saw the arrow gradually dissipate. Only then did he find that it turned out to be condensed by spiritual energy. Han Fei gritted his teeth and touched his butt with his hand, only to find that his butt was covered with blood. Holy sh*t! Help! I'm really going to kill you this time. Swish! 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 Han Fei was dumbfounded. He saw hundreds of glowing arrows shooting at him. Damn you, Ren Tianfei. If I don't die, I'll beat your head up. At this moment, Han Fei was really in a panic. The first two times it couldn't break his defense, but this time it was for real. As soon as he was pricked, he immediately bled. I'll flash, I'll flash. I'll flash, I'll flash. Unfortunately, he was no longer the skinny man he was half a month ago. Now, with his fat body, he felt like he was suffering every time he completed an unconventional evasive move. Ren Tianfei, I wish you will be beaten up by your enemies. Ow. Fortunately, there seemed to be only 100 or so arrows of light, and every time they hit him, their power would decrease. 3 days later, when there were only about 30 light arrows left, Han Fei stopped moving and allowed the arrows to pierce through his skin. He would not bleed much now. However, Han Fei found a good way to lose weight. He could lose weight by bleeding a little. He felt that he had lost at least 20 kilograms. When Han Fei flew out of the door, he was covered in blood. Han Fei vomited blood. Master Hexagon Starfish, hurry, hurry. Spiritual spring, I feel like I'm dying. Give me the spiritual spring. However, the Hexagon Starfish froze for a moment. Your breath is very strong. I feel that your vitality is stronger than mine. Han Fei cursed in his heart and said weakly, No, my internal organs are rolling. Do you know what's in the door? Is it really going to kill me this time? I'm covered in blood. Are you kidding me? Your internal organs don't seem to be displaced. What do you know? My internal organs are shaking. I feel that I've hurt my origin and my soul is about to die out. This matter is very serious. Without 100,000 points of spiritual spring, I can't get up. Luckily, the Hexagon Starfish didn't know how to curse. If he had been in contact with human beings for a few days and learned how to curse, he would have cursed aloud. Why did he meet such a shameless guy? Can't you be more convincing? I've seen through you, okay? I don't have much spiritual spring left. Nonsense, you still have 220 years left. But I've been consuming it in the past 300 years. I've already given you half. I don't care. Without 100,000 points of spiritual spring, I don't think I can survive the fourth door. Master Hexagon Starfish, look at me. I've become a fatty for you. Doesn't your conscience hurt? Starfish don't have hearts. I can't feel the kind of pain you said. Han Fei's face turned black. Are you going to give it to me or not? The Hexagon Starfish was helpless. In the end, a massive spiritual spring floated in front of Han Fei, but Han Fei bounced up from the ground and swallowed it. After a while, Han Fei complained, Master Hexagon Starfish, why are there only 50,000 points? Where are the other 50,000 points? The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a while. Although I don't have a heart, I feel that my 6 tentacles are restless and a little out of control. This time, it was Han Fei's turn to be taken aback. He quickly said, You have to learn to control yourself. Violence can't solve any problem. We humans are all about reasoning. However, in the next moment, Han Fei saw that 4 tentacles of the big starfish began to rise. Han Fei shouted, Master Hexagon Starfish, I think it's more urgent to help you lift the barrier. In order for you to leave as soon as possible, I'll enter the 4th door first. Han Fei slipped into the 4th door with a swish. At this moment, his heart was still pounding. No, the strong can play by the rules. I have to become strong as soon as possible. Yes, this bad starfish has cultivated for 300 years and only reached level 36. It's too slow. His talent must be very poor. Give me a few years, and I'll be able to cut off your claws and roast them. There seems to be no danger in this door. Is the danger over? No, there is danger. BM. Han Fei felt as if he had been hit by a mountain. Why was it so familiar? With a bang, he was sent flying. Who the F*** CK attacked me? In the air, Han Fei looked back and exclaimed, because he saw a large mantis shrimp again. Name, Mutant Mantis Shrimp King, level 20, quality, exotic, contains spiritual energy greater than 1,200 points, edible effect. The meat is extremely delicious and can strengthen the body. Edible effect, Mutant Mantis Shrimp Beads, can greatly enhance the body strength. Collectible Mantis Shrimp Beads, absorbable. Han Fei broke out in a cold sweat. Last time, he had just killed a Mantis Shrimp King, which was only level 18. But what level was this Mantis Shrimp King? Little Black, come out and protect me. Han Fei called out a few times and tried to think, but there was no response. No, I can't summon it. BM, the Mantis Shrimp King suddenly rushed in front of him and hit Han Fei's stomach with a hammer, knocking Han Fei hundreds of meters away. EW, Han Fei stretched out his hand and took out the water-stirring seal. Although he didn't know what method this space used to isolate the connection with his spiritual beast, the demon purification pot didn't seem to be restricted by this. He decided to knock it to death. Aren't your fists powerful? Let's see which is more powerful, your fists or my water-stirring seal. Huh? No, it didn't break my defense? Han Fei patted his round belly. In theory, few creatures in a level 1 fishery could resist the blow of the Mantis Shrimp King. Not even the armored turtle, unless it was the legendary rock-holding turtle. But when it hit his belly, it didn't break his defense? Han Fei blinked a few times and immediately took the water-stirring seal back into the demon purification universe. He clenched his fists. It's just a shrimp. I want to eat mantis shrimp today. Read 2. Chapter 109. Han Fei threw the purple bamboo rod aside, activated the wandering dragon art, and rushed up and punched. BM. However, Han Fei still underestimated the speed of the Mantis Shrimp King's punches and was punched more than a dozen times on the ground. Wow, you're faster than me? If I hadn't become a fatty, I would have beaten you up in minutes. BM, a man and a shrimp were fighting. Of course, at first, Han Fei was sent flying more often, but he knew more than 100 weird movements at a time. When he practiced the incomplete ways of 108 ways of body polishing, Han Fei knew that his dodging ability had been strengthened. He was no longer limited to 108 postures, but could do any complicated posture. So only an hour later, the Mantis Shrimp King could no longer send Han Fei flying. Han Fei was quite proud. Mantis Shrimp, your punches are so fast that even ghosts can't see them clearly. At this moment, Han Fei punched the Mantis Shrimp King's extended forelimb, and the Mantis Shrimp's 5-meter-long head was smashed and rolled several times. Are you convinced? Call me Dad. The Mantis Shrimp King seemed to be furious and rushed at Han Fei with its 6 short legs. However, Han Fei turned around and rolled on the shrimp's head. Thud, thud, thud. Han Fei didn't know how many punches he had made. Anyway, he felt a little pain in his hands, but the Mantis Shrimp King's shell didn't even break. Han Fei immediately took out 2 daggers and stabbed it hard, but it was still useless. In the end, he took out the water-stirring seal and pressed the Mantis Shrimp King to the ground. Putting away the water-stirring seal, Han Fei walked slowly to the Mantis Shrimp. Are you convinced now? It's a pity that I can't make a fire in the water. Otherwise, I would stew you now. Huh? Wait. Han Fei suddenly realized that he seemed to have turned on the demon refinement function. This mutant Mantis Shrimp King was an exotic creature. Did it mean that he could fuse with this monster? As soon as Han Fei thought of this, the gourd on his wrist glowed, and a huge Mantis Shrimp King disappeared in front of him. Han Fei quickly looked at the demon refinement function and found that a Mantis Shrimp was placed on it. Unfortunately, there was only one, which didn't seem to meet the fusion conditions. That's strange. You absorbed it. Shouldn't you be my pet? How did it turn into a picture? Han Fei scratched his head, picked up the stick, and walked slowly to the exit. No, I can't go out like this. A few minutes later, the hexagon starfish saw a bloody hand stretching out of the door. The hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes moved back and forth. Is this human really seriously injured this time? After a while, Han Fei's 2 hands and a head stretched out, both dripping with blood. "Mr. Hexagon Starfish, help me. I feel like I'm dying." The Hexagon Starfish asked, "Why is your skin gone? There's a great horror inside. Hurry up, give me the spiritual spring." The Hexagon Starfish had never seen such a scene before. Han Fei looked like he was seriously injured this time, and this time he only went in for 2 hours. Could it be that there was something different behind this door? After a while, Han Fei crawled out of the hole, covered in blood. At this time, a massive spiritual spring floated above Han Fei's head. The Hexagon Starfish didn't want Han Fei to die, for gates had been broken and there was only one left. If Han Fei died at this time, wouldn't the spiritual spring that he had accumulated for hundreds of years be wasted? The point was that the seal hadn't been broken yet. Han Fei sucked the spiritual spring in big mouthfuls. With every breath, the skin on his body grew a little again, and his bloody body was recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. It wasn't until the whole mass of spiritual spring was sucked up by him that the injuries on his body were mostly healed. Han Fei looked at his 240,000 points of spiritual energy and thought to himself, "This big starfish is really generous this time. He actually gave me 100,000 points." But on the surface, Han Fei finally got up from outside the door, staggering as if he could fall at any time. "Mr. Hexagon Starfish, I feel that the last gate is a bit difficult. I'm afraid I can't pass it." "Human, don't worry. I can wait." "But I can't wait. I have hundreds of subordinates waiting for me to go back. Their children are crying piteously, and their parents are waiting for them to support them. If I don't go back, they will all die." The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a while. "How about I let you go to my treasure house again?" Han Fei suddenly laughed. "I've been robbed." "Is that a treasure house?" "It's called a garbage dump." "Mr. Hexagon Starfish, I think if you can give me another 100,000 points of spiritual spring and let me recover to my peak, maybe I can still fight." The Hexagon Starfish was silent for a moment. "Human, did you cause the injuries on your body?" Han Fei was shocked. "Can this guy see what's going on inside the gate? Did he discover that I'm cultivating the indestructible body art?" "No. If he found out, why would he give me 100,000 points of spiritual spring?" Han Fei looked sad and indignant. "How dare you doubt me? I worked so hard for you. How dare you doubt me? Do you know what's in the gate? 300 big fish that can spit fire. Look at my skin. It's all burned up. Just think about it. What will happen if your skin is gone?" The Hexagon Starfish scoffed, "But the spiritual spring you want is too much. In just a few days, you've used up my 100 years of savings. How can a human need so much spiritual spring? I'm not an ordinary person. Let me tell you, there's a 10,000-year-old grandpa hidden in my body. Do you think I want so much spiritual energy for myself? No, I borrowed his power to walk through the 4 gates in a row. Do you think a few 100,000 points of spiritual spring is a lot to ask for a 10,000-year-old antique?" Looking at Han Fei's sincere and sad expression, the Hexagon Starfish thought for a while. "There seems to be something in your body. Otherwise, with your physical strength, you can't even bear a few thousand points of spiritual spring, let alone hundreds of thousands of points. But can I see the one in your body? He is in my soul. How can I show him to you? If you can give me 150,000 points of spiritual spring, then I can show you his power." Han Fei staggered as if he would fall at any time. "Give it to me, I'll be fine. I'll show you fury then." However, in the end, a large mass of spiritual spring floated above Han Fei's head again. "That's all I have. I can't give you the rest. Otherwise, even if I go out, I will be killed by other mysterious or legendary creatures." Han Fei didn't mind. "So be it. I'll eat these 100,000 points first." After a while, Han Fei looked at his data again. Owner Han Fei, level greater than 16. Intermediate Fishing Master. Spiritual energy greater than 340,006. 799. Spiritual Heritage, level 3. High quality, upgradable. Spiritual Beast, Twin Yin Spirit Swallowing Fish. Weapon, Purple Bamboo Rod. Main Art, Void Fishing. Volume 2. Hook God, Mysterious Level, Divine Quality. Han Fei estimated that he couldn't get any more spiritual spring, but he had to put on a good show. He quickly sat cross-legged, only to see that his skin grew back again, and after a while, he was as good as before. Han Fei twisted his head, making a clicking sound, and his momentum suddenly erupted. Then he exclaimed, "It feels so good to have a spiritual spring. Master Hexagon, my injuries have healed. I'm going in." The Hexagon starfish asked, "Don't you need to cultivate? Judging from your situation just now, the last gate may be very difficult." Han Fei said seriously, "Master Hexagon, don't worry. I'm a kind-hearted person. I can't bear to see you suffer in this sea of suffering for more than 300 years. So I'm going now. Wait for me." The Hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes flickered. Is this human really a kind-hearted person? I feel something is wrong. But Han Fei entered the 5th and last gate without hesitation with his rod. As soon as he entered the gate, Han Fei took a defensive posture and immediately looked back, only to find that there was nothing. Even the seawater was no different from ordinary seawater. From a distance, he saw a stone table in the middle of this space. Huh, it can't be. Is that damn Ren Tianfei so kind-hearted? Is there no danger in this gate? Han Fei tentatively walked toward the stone table step by step. After a while, he found that there was really no danger, so he walked over quickly. There were a few pages of paper on the stone table, as well as 2 stones, one black and one purple. Han Fei looked down, only to see the words "for my disciple" written on the paper. F***CK off. You want to be my master? What the F***CK? You almost tortured me to death. How dare you be my master? Read 2. Chapter 110. Damn it. Why become stronger? I will definitely find you and beat you up. Han Fei still opened those pieces of paper. He wanted to see what this guy would say. It read, You didn't die? Han Fei felt a headache coming on. What? Do you think I will die? The letter read, My good disciple, if you can read this letter, I will be very emotional. I really can't imagine that someone in such a shabby village can fight his way into the mantis shrimp cave, survive, and successfully practice my indestructible body. Of course, what I didn't expect was that you actually dared to challenge the 6 gates of the Hexagon starfish. Such courage is commendable. Ordinary people would have run away a long time ago. You are indeed my disciple. Han Fei chuckled. Haha, do you think I care? I didn't admit it. I will beat you up sooner or later. Han Fei continued to read. Yes, these 6 gates are full of opportunities left for you by me. Only the first 2 gates are tests of life and death. Once you pass the first 2 gates, the last 2 gates are just basic tests of strength. Since my disciple has made it this far, it means that not only do you have talent, but you also have great courage. However, you're still too weak now, so I won't leave you too many opportunities. Only when you officially step onto the path of seeking Tao in this world will opportunities become meaningful to you. As for when you can embark on the path of seeking Tao, I don't know yet, but if you can get the treasures I left in the level 3 fishery, it means that you have officially joined the path of seeking Tao. By the way, if you haven't mastered the indestructible body, don't go to the treasures in the level 3 fishery, even if you become a dangling fisher. Otherwise, you will definitely die. Seeing this, Han Fei gnashed his teeth in anger. F***CK. If I didn't come to this seabed grotto, wouldn't I be dead? You didn't say in the boat burying pit. Why did you say it here? Disciple, the opportunities here are just for you to lay the foundation. Oh, you should have become a big fatty. It's okay. This is only temporary. As long as you practice hard, you will lose weight in 8 or 10 years. The power I left in your body should be enough for you to succeed. But remember, when cultivating the Starlight Immortal body, you have to learn other body refining techniques, so you can't let others see through it. Although there weren't many people in the city that could see through it, if you were to be seen through, you would face a great calamity. Also, Master will tell you again, don't ever mention Master's name. All right, that's all I have to say. Disciple, how far you can go will depend on yourself. As for this Hexagon starfish, it has been suppressed by me for many years. It's time to let it go. Crushing the black stone on the table could unlock the restriction here. There is a drop of Hexagon starfish's life essence blood in the white stone. If it wants to harm you, you can easily kill it by crushing it. With your current strength, you should be able to kill it. Han Fei's eyes lit up. Wow, good stuff is here. No, wait a minute. The big starfish looks quite pitiful. Would it be bad if I take the 100-year spiritual spring from it? Let's knock for 50 years first. Thinking of this, Han Fei walked out happily. This time, he didn't care about anyone at all. Seeing Han Fei coming out of the door, the hexagon starfish's 6 big eyes rolled quickly. Has the restriction been unlocked? No, it hasn't been unlocked yet. I can't get out yet. Is there no way to unlock the restriction inside? Han Fei was holding a black stone in his left hand and a white stone in his right hand, looking left and right. The hexagon starfish panicked. Human, what are you doing? Human, I can give you treasures. TSK, Master Hexagon Starfish, I went through hardships and dangers to unlock the seal for you. Look, I sacrificed myself. I used to be so handsome, but look at me now, I've become a fatty. This has seriously traumatized my heart. Don't you have anything to say? I can give you treasures. A gentleman doesn't take what others like. Am I the kind of person who likes treasures? I won't. A gentleman loves money, but he should earn it in a proper way. You can keep the treasures for yourself. But, Master Hexagon Starfish, how about the 100-year spiritual spring? If you give it to me, I'll crush this black stone immediately and unlock the restriction for you. The hexagon starfish exclaimed, "The great sea god! I don't have the 100-year spiritual spring anymore. I only have the 50-year spiritual spring left. This is my life-saving spiritual spring. I can give you treasures." Han Fei looked incredulous. I told you just now, am I that kind of greedy person? Okay, I won't embarrass you. Give me the 50-year spiritual spring, and I'll let you go. 10 years. I can only give you 10 more years at most. Otherwise, I will be eaten when I go out. 40 years. As a mysterious creature, I believe you have the means to save your life. Human, at most 20 years. You are depriving me of the chance to survive. Then I'll give you a chance to survive. 30 years, no less. It's a deal. The hexagon starfish muttered, 25 years, this is my limit. Han Fei was silent for a while. 35 years, this is my limit. Hexagon starfish. The big starfish really wanted to slap Han Fei. Why doesn't this guy play by the rules? Shouldn't you think 25 years is a reasonable number? Why the F***CK did you add another 5 years? Human, you win. 30 years, I'll give it to you. Let me go. 35 years, this is my limit. If it weren't for the sea, the hexagon starfish would have shed tears of regret at this time. What did I do? Why did I have to meet this demon? I'm bullying this starfish. Hexagon starfish asked, will you really let me go? Of course, I swear in the name of the sea god, I will. A large mass of spiritual spring appeared in front of Han Fei's eyes, which made him smile so much. Human, can you fulfill your promise now? Han Fei waved his hand, and the large mass of spiritual spring disappeared, which made the hexagon starfish's 6 eyes shrink at the same time. This guy actually has a spatial secret treasure? This is too much. Gotcha. Han Fei pinched the black stone and smiled. Master Hexagon, the sea is endless. Let's hum. Turbid dust rose from the big pit in an instant, and Han Fei saw the huge starfish instantly shrink into a palm-sized starfish and disappear with a swish. Han Fei. At the same time, the hexagon starfish said to him via voice transmission, "Evil human, I will never meet you again. Never." Han Fei froze. I haven't finished speaking yet. Why are you running so fast? Damn, I can't keep up with this speed at all. No wonder it's a level 36 mysterious creature. Han Fei, on the other hand, was not in a hurry at all. He lay in the water and slowly absorbed the spiritual spring. About half an hour later, Han Fei looked at his 690,006 spiritual energy value and beamed with joy. I'm rich. Sure enough, treasure hunting is the fastest way to make money in this world. But when Han Fei looked down and saw his ball-like figure, the smile on his face suddenly froze. Damn Run Tianfei, I'm not done with you. Han Fei could almost imagine that when he returned to the angel village like this, he would definitely become the biggest topic of conversation among the villagers. On the sea, in the evening, many people put away their fishing poles and went home. A white fishing boat suddenly appeared, and a fat man, with a sad face, held his chin with one hand and controlled the fishing boat to fly to the floating island with the other. The fish dragons. Han Fei wanted to put his hands behind his back, trying to make himself look like a gang leader, but he couldn't put his hands together. His face darkened. Stop, fatty. The fish dragons are an important place. Unauthorized people are not allowed to trespass. Han Fei suddenly raised his head. Who are you calling fatty? Say it again. The man sneered. Fatty, it's not your fault that you're fat, but it's your fault that you want to show off. Do you know who our gang leader is? Our gang leader. BM. The man was sent flying out. How dare you break into the fish dragons? Call someone. Read 2. Chapter 111. Han Fei was quickly surrounded by a group of members of the fish dragons, but everyone looked vigilant. This fatty gave them a strong feeling. Han Fei cursed. You bastards, don't you know who I am? A gang member shouted. No matter who you are, you can't behave atrociously in our fish dragon's territory. Besides, we don't have such a fat person like you in the Heavenly Water Village. Tell me, are you a spy from another village? Han Fei tried hard to pull the fat off his face. Do you see it now? Well, many people were dumbfounded. They seemed to have discovered something terrifying. Gang leader? Han Fei asked. Did you just see it? Are you going to rebel? F*CK, boss. How? How did you become like this? Young master, what have you been through? After a while, Li Gan, Li Gang, and Li Qing all came back. At the first sight of Han Fei, they couldn't believe their eyes. Li Gang even stuck out his belly and patted it with his hand. He thought to himself, I can't compare. I'm really too skinny. Han Fei pointed at Li Gang angrily. Li Gang, hold your belly back. Li Gang. Han Fei asked, Did anyone look for me during the half a month I was away? Young master, the village leader looked for you, and the people who went to our hot pot restaurant last time also looked for you. But they all thought you went to the mixed area of the level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery to cultivate. Han Fei asked, Didn't anyone think it was inappropriate for me to stay at sea for half a month? Li Gang scratched his head and said, Well, 2 female fishing masters said there was no place in the mixed area that you couldn't go to. Han Fei didn't want to talk. He waved his hand. Okay, go about your own business. I have to go to the plantation. It was already late. Han Fei had to hurry up and ask old Jiang for help. Perhaps only he could help him lose weight in the entire Heavenly Water Village. In the plantation, old Jiang and Jiang Qin had just finished cooking. Jiang Qin brought back a bunch of barbecue from the barbecue stall. Old Jiang seemed to have fallen in love with hot pot and was fiddling with it. Old Jiang frowned. Why is my food not as delicious as that boy's? Jiang Qin said, It may be his talent. Old Jiang muttered, I don't know where that damn little bastard went. Does he think he's invincible? He even went out to practice alone. Come on, let's eat. Before old Jiang had drunk 3 glasses of wine, and Jiang Qin had only eaten a small piece of the roasted clam in her hand, they saw a ball come in. Hey, fatty, who are you? Why are you running inside? Old man, help. Cough, 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 cough. Old Jiang suddenly spat out a mouthful of wine, and Jiang Qin choked directly. Their eyes almost popped out. What the hell is this? Why is it Han Fei's voice? Han Fei ran over, and the ground trembled with every step he took. Old Jiang gasped. Boy Han? Old Jiang asked, Can't you recognize me? Does the old man have a way to help me lose weight? You must have it, right? Jiang Qin looked incredulous. Han Fei, how did you become a big fatty? Old Jiang asked, Is this a fatty? This is clearly a ball. No, Han Fei, how did you become like this? Han Fei had already come up with a lie. I was cultivating in the mixed zone, but I realized that fishing was no longer enough for me. So I went into the water. It was really dangerous in the water. I was chased by fish, so I had to run to places with fewer people. Then I swam into an undersea cave, and suddenly the water in this cave turned red. I felt like I was roasted. When I woke up, I became like this. Grandpa, can I still be saved? Jiang Qin narrowed her eyes. Undersea cave? Old Jiang also narrowed his eyes. Red seawater? Han Fei replied, Yes. The red silk jumped into my body, like spiritual energy. Old Jiang asked, "Then how do you feel? Is there anything wrong with your body?" Han Fei thought to himself, "This old man really knows." So he hurriedly said, "Grandpa, there's a ball in my dantian, which is mixed with my spiritual energy." Jiang Qin was still at a loss, but old Jiang took a deep breath and murmured, "Impossible! How could candle dragon blood appear in this place?" Han Fei looked flustered. "Grandpa, what is candle dragon blood?" Old Jiang's face was slightly serious. "This is just a rumor, and I have never seen it. But according to your description, there should be a drop of candle dragon blood in that place, and you accidentally absorbed it. No, if it was really candle dragon blood, you should have exploded a long time ago. Why did you only become a fatty?" Han Fei. Han Fei's heart skipped a beat. Did I really explode? He also felt that he was about to explode at that time, but he survived in the end. Old Jiang instructed, "Qin, punch him in the stomach with the strength of a junior great fishing master." "Huh, be him." Han Fei rolled on the ground 7 or 8 times, then stood up 10 meters away and scratched his head. "Grandpa, why did you ask Sister Qin to hit me?" But Jiang Qin was stunned. "How did your body become so strong? Is it strong? It seems to be stronger." Jiang Qin, old Jiang's eyes flickered. "It seems that you will continue to be fat for a while, right?" "What?" Han Fei asked. "Grandpa, do you really have no other way? How can I go out and meet people like this?" Old Jiang sneered. "So what? Don't be greedy. If being fat can make a fishing master's body so strong, I swear that the entire Heavenly Water Village will be full of fatties. But how long will it take for me to lose weight?" Old Jiang added, "There is a huge backlog of energy in your body. When this energy is consumed, you will lose weight." Han Fei's eyes lit up. "How can I consume it?" The old master, every time you break through a realm, the more energy your body can bear, the more energy will be consumed. So, when you make a breakthrough, you will lose weight. As for the specific realm you will lose weight, I guess when you break through to a peak-level great fishing master, you may lose more than half of your weight, right? What? Han Fei was speechless. Will I lose more than half of my weight when I become a peak-level great fishing master? But I'm still a fatty after losing more than half of my weight. Old Jiang clicked his tongue. "If you continue to be a soul warrior, maybe you will lose a little more weight." Han Fei immediately turned to look at Jiang Qin. "Sister Qin, can I continue to study?" "Of course, but from now on, you have to stay in the plantation for at least 20 days a month. If you have made up your mind, you'd better go to the level 1 fishery to complete the task tomorrow, and then come back quickly so that you can spend the next month in the plantation." Han Fei scratched his belly. "Okay, then let's eat first." Old Jiang was furious. "You are so fat. Why do you still want to eat?" Han Fei said matter-of-factly, "I haven't eaten for half a month. A hot pot meal shouldn't make me gain more than 1 kilogram. Yes, Han Fei now had a tendency to give up. It seemed that he couldn't lose weight in a short time, so he decided to turn his grief and anger into appetite. On the 3rd day, at the village leader's home. "Puff, are you Han Fei?" Han Fei retold the story helplessly, and the village leader exclaimed, "Oh my God, this is a gift from Sea God to you. Han Fei, you are so lucky. In the past 100 years, except for Tango, no one has been as lucky as you in our Heavenly Water Village." Han Fei chuckled. "Grandpa Leader, can you not be so dramatic? I want to ask Uncle Chow Fei where they are. I want to ask them to go to the level 1 fishery." "Oh, they set off the day before yesterday. But Chun Jia and Chun Ling didn't go. You can go to them." Han Fei asked, "Can I not ask girls out?" "Don't worry. Even if you're not so fat, you're only 12 years old. They won't be interested in you." Han Fei. Read 2. Chapter 112. When Chun Jia and Chun Ling recognized that the fat man in front of them was Han Fei, they were shocked. Chun Jia asked, "Are you really Han Fei? Don't lie to me." "Wow, Brother Han Fei, how much do you weigh now? Do you weigh 250 kilograms?" Han Fei felt hopeless. In fact, he weighed more than 250 kilograms, because the more he cultivated, the heavier he would be. Even Han Fei, who looked thin and weak before, actually weighed more than 200 kilograms when he became a fishing master. Now God only knew how much he weighed. Anyway, he didn't want to weigh himself. Han Fei shouted, "Enough! You women are so superficial. You always like to laugh at other people's shortcomings. You won't be able to get married like this." Smack! Chen Jia knocked hard on Han Fei's head. "Brat, hurry up and set sail." Fishing masters had to register when they went to the level 1 fishery, which was very important because fishing masters were the backbone of the village. The loss of one would make people sad. On the way, Han Fei's head was turned 100%. Everyone was looking at this fat man. The most annoying thing was, why were there two beauties beside this guy? Are women these days all so shallow? Shit, it seems that the spirit-swallowing fish has been taken by the ironhead fish. Why haven't I seen this fat man before? Is there such a person in our heavenly water village? He's so fat. How much food did he eat? I guess he must eat at least 20 yellow croakers a day to be so fat. Han Fei couldn't bear it anymore and shouted at the passers-by, "Enough! You guys are just fishers. Be careful, or I'll throw you off the floating island." But no one took him seriously. Even when the tigers were here, they didn't dare to throw people off the floating island. Who did this fat man think he was? Chun Ling said, "Brother Han Fei, forget it. You can consider wearing a mask when you go out in the future." Han Fei replied, "That's self-deception." Chun Ling giggled. "It's okay. Anyway, you're still young. When you grow up, you will lose weight." Han Fei, the level 1 fishery. When the fishing boat entered the water, it suddenly sank, and Han Fei frowned. "Don't remind me that I'm very heavy, okay?" Chen Jiar said, "This time we can fish at ease. Uncle Chow has united the Heavenly Wood Village and the Heavenly Water Village. Now the 3 villages have a common enemy. I think the level 1 fishery will be relatively stable during this period." Chun Ling asked, "Brother Han Fei, have you practiced the 2nd level of true spirit fishing? This level 1 fishery is not an ordinary fishery. It's hard to catch 500 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish with the 1st level of immobilization." Han Fei said, I have a try." Han Fei took out the black iron rod. As for the fine iron rod, he threw it into the warehouse of the fish dragons. Whoever wanted it could have it. Anyway, his black iron rod was a mortal-level high-quality fishing rod. As for the so-called 2nd level of the true spirit fishing art, Han Fei didn't care at all. Who would pay attention to a low-level one when there was a better one? The rod skill attached to the 2nd level of void fishing was hook god skill, which was actually 3 kinds of hook skills, namely thousand twining, flash hook, and winding snake. The thousand twining was actually to control the silk thread on the fishing rod. Because of the hook kiss, Han Fei could perceive the movements of the fish underwater. As long as it was not a blade fish with a saber, it was basically impossible to escape after being tied up by the thousand twining. The 2nd kind was flash hook, which was prepared for some clever fish that ate the bait and didn't take the bait. When the fish was close to the hook, he could directly control the hook to flash at an extremely fast speed. Ordinary fish couldn't escape at all. The 3rd method, the winding snake technique, was actually a deceptive fishing technique. The winding snake technique would make the hook draw a spiritual energy fish in the seawater while hiding the hook itself. This way, the bait would be more enticing and the bait rate would be higher. Han Fei hadn't fished for a long time. He felt like a treasure hunter. Only when he was looking for treasure would he feel excited. And at this moment, he was a little bored, so he was trying these 3 fishing skills. Huh, it ran away. No, I didn't entangle it fast enough and it made a noise. No, I injected too much spiritual energy and the entangling line was stretched, giving the fish a chance to escape. Woo, spirit-swallowing fish. Entangle. Han Fei pulled the line, and the spirit-swallowing fish ran out of the line hole with a swish. Han Fei, Chunjie, said, "Brother, be patient. This place is different from ordinary fisheries. Even the most common spirit-swallowing fish are very cunning." Han Fei glanced at Chunjie, who had already caught 4 or 5 spirit-swallowing fish, and curled his lips. Unfortunately, his face was too fat now. So, no matter how he moved his mouth, it was as if he hadn't moved at all. entangle. This time Han Fei acted quickly, and a forearm-long spirit-swallowing fish was pulled up from the sea. Han Fei immediately laughed. See, it's so easy. I can catch 500 catties today. Chun the spirit-swallowing fish were not big, or rather, very small. Compared to other fish species, they were too small, but there were so many of them. After an hour, Chunjia and Chunling had caught dozens of fish, which weighed at least 70 or 80 catties. But Han Fei only caught 7 or 8. Chunjia suggested, "Brother Han Fei, why don't we change places?" Chunling agreed. "Yes, maybe it'll be better if we change places." Han Fei said leisurely, "No, I'm just playing with the fish." The two girls were too embarrassed to expose him. He was young and cared about his reputation. No one would dislike him if he didn't catch enough fish. In fact, the two of them didn't know that Han Fei was really playing with the fish. He was using the winding snake technique at the moment. The underwater fish hook was like a spiritual fish, and there were dozens of spirit-swallowing fish chasing after him. The spirit-swallowing fish, which were extremely sensitive to spiritual energy, would never let go of anything with abundant spiritual energy. Han Fei smiled, shook the fishing rod in his hand, and the spiritual energy fish instantly went into the mouths of the two spirit-swallowing fish. Up, looking at the two spirit-swallowing fish on Han Fei's fishing rod, Chunjia and Chunling were both surprised. "One hook, two fish. Ha! It's a fluke." Chunjia exclaimed, "Wow. This is a 1 in 10,000 chance. Little brother, you're so lucky." Han Fei's face was black. "Can you get rid of the word little?" Chunjia. Han Fei tried all 3 fishing techniques. They were not difficult, but they required a lot of proficiency and spiritual energy. After trying, he found that the winding snake technique was not suitable for fishing in the level 1 fishery. A spiritual energy fish cost at least 30 points of spiritual energy. Plus the cost of fishing, he could hardly make a profit. Another 2 hours later, the two girls were depressed because they found that Han Fei caught more and more spirit-swallowing fish. In the beginning, he only caught 1 in half a day, but now he caught 1 in a few minutes. This speed made them feel ashamed. Chunling and Chunjia murmured, "Is it true that geniuses learn everything fast?" Chunjia nodded. "I think so." "Huh? Lower your head." Han Fei shouted at Chunjia, and Chunling. The two girls subconsciously lowered their heads, only to hear the sound of swish and clank. After a while, when the two girls raised their heads again, they found a string of black thorns. Chunling asked, "Ball fish?" Chunjia complained, "Brother, is your body made of fine iron?" Han Fei was holding a ball fish with only the skin left. He took out a dagger and cut it open, pinched out the small mass of white meat in the middle, put it into his mouth, and swallowed it. Han Fei said, "I told you not to discriminate against fat people. Fat people are very powerful." In the evening, Han Fei had caught as many spirit-swallowing fish as the two girls, and he also caught a swordfish. He was pricked by the swordfish, but the fish's mouth was broken. "I'm so lonely. Sisters, shall we go for a walk underwater?" Chunling asked, "Are you crazy? This is the level 1 fishery. But I think I can go down. Maybe I can catch 2 rare fish." Chunjia added, "We are not as fat as you. If a few swordfish catch up with us, we will be injured." Fishermen in the level 1 fishery often spent the night at sea. Night fishing was also a common thing. But no one would go into the water, because at night, the entire level 1 fishery would become a bloody hunting ground. Suddenly, Chunling said seriously, "Han Fei, stop fishing. A boat is coming." There was more than one boat coming. There were as many as 3, and there were 7 fishing masters on each boat. Chunjia complained, "Damn it, I thought the place we chose was remote enough. How did they find us?" "Haha, people from the Heavenly Water Village. Hand over your harvest today, and I can spare your life." Han Fei asked Chunjia, "Which village are they from?" Chunjia said, "Look at the boat. There's a fire sign on their boat. They are from the Heavenly Fire Village." Han Fei said, fire and water are incompatible. Hey, which fatty is talking to you? Read 2. Chapter 113. Han Fei only felt the sea breeze blowing on his face, which was full of sadness. Han Fei took a deep breath. Sister Jia control the boat to hit them. Chun Jia added, Han Fei, they outnumber us, but we can run away quickly. No, he has insulted me and caused great harm to my life. Hit them. Chun Jia rolled her eyes. Ever since her brother became a fatty, he wasn't that cute anymore. Whenever someone mentioned the word fatty, he would give them a sour look. Now he was going crazy, but Chun Jia was not afraid. Although the other party outnumbered them, she could run away at the critical moment. Anyway, their boat was better. Seeing the white fishing boat rushing at them, the man on the opposite side shouted, Fatty, are you crazy? We just robbed you of a few spirit-swallowing fish. Do you have to die with us? Who are you calling fatty? With a bang, the other party had no time to escape and the boat hit them. Han Fei's fat body jumped into the sky and fell heavily on the other party's boat. Get him! The people from the Heavenly Fire Village were also ruthless. They didn't expect this fatty to be so ruthless as to hit them with his boat. Thud! Han Fei directly pressed the other party's fishing boat into the water and almost disrupted the other party's formation. The young man smashed his rod on Han Fei's stomach with surging spiritual energy, making Han Fei's stomach deflate a little. However, Han Fei's stomach stuck out, and the young man flew back with the rod. He hit the railing hard and even deformed it. Hiss! The 3 fishing masters of the Heavenly Fire Village were stunned. Is he really so ruthless? He didn't even use spiritual energy and blocked it with his body? Although it was not a spiritual energy explosion, his body shouldn't be able to block it. Han Fei scratched his stomach, pointed to the man who was not flying, and said, I'll give you another chance to organize your words. Speak properly. Fatty, you're courting death. We have 3 fishing boats. Before he could finish his words, he saw the fat man in front of him suddenly appear in front of him with a speed that did not match his figure at all. The fat man grabbed his leg with one hand and lifted his whole body up. Duong, Duong. The young man's head was bleeding and his internal organs were rolling. He was moaning and vomiting blood. Dang, dang. Han Fei felt that he had been hit twice and staggered 2 steps forward. He looked back, only to see that the other 2 people from the Heavenly Fire Village were staring at him, dumbfounded. Your body can actually withstand the spiritual energy explosion? Bang! Han Fei rushed forward and opened his arms, knocking the 2 of them to the ground. Then, he didn't use his weapon. Instead, he sat down. Blurg! One of them spat out a mouthful of old blood after being sat on. The other person immediately peed his pants. He quickly jumped into the sea, and at the same time, hooked his fish hook to another fishing boat from the Heavenly Fire Village. Did I say you could go? Come back here. Han Fei waved the black iron rod in his hand, and the man who was flying in the air immediately retracted his legs. He was tied up and dragged back. Bang! With just one punch, that person flew into the distant sea and fell into the water with a splash. The 2 girls, Chun Jia, and Chun Ling, were dumbfounded. Is this Han Fei's strength? What happened to him? It's only been a few days. In just half a month, he single-handedly killed 3 fishing masters without even using spiritual energy. The other 2 fishing boats from the Heavenly Fire Village were about to come to support, but when they were still more than 30 meters away, they found that the people on their fishing boat had been killed by the fatty. Immediately, the people on the 2 boats began to swallow. Is that fatty from the Heavenly Water Village? Isn't this too terrifying? When did the Heavenly Water Village have such a figure? Hey, fatty, let's talk it over. Let our people go, and we'll leave immediately. Oh, I told you not to call me fatty. Han Fei grabbed the 2 people under his feet, one in each hand, and threw them at the fishing boat like throwing big yellow croakers. That huge force directly smashed the internal organs of the 2 fellows, who were already seriously injured, to the point where they were almost crushed. But did Han Fei just give up? Han Fei jumped and threw himself into the sea, setting off huge waves. On the Heavenly Fire Village's side, as soon as the 2 teammates were helped up and spread on the deck, someone asked. Huh? Where's the fatty? He seems to have jumped into the sea. Huh? Did he take things too hard and commit suicide? BM. The surface of the water suddenly exploded, and Han Fei stood on the deck of the ship with a bang. Han Fei's face was black. I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words. Who is the fatty? Gulp. Big brother. It's our heavenly fire village's fault. Big brother. BM. With a bang, the man smashed the deck and fell into the fish cabin. Who's your big brother? I'm only 12 years old. I don't have a brother as old as you. Everyone was agitated. Damn you. You're only 12 years old. What if you're 22 years old? But the people of the Heavenly Fire Village dared not say anything. Finally, someone stood up. It's a misunderstanding. Little brother, this is completely a misunderstanding. Han Fei asked. Then let me ask you, am I fat? No, of course not. Are you kidding me? If anyone dares to say you are fat, I'll be the first to argue with him. Your figure is definitely the standard in our village. Slim. Everyone cursed in their hearts. Don't you feel guilty for lying through your teeth? The person on the other side was already as fat as a ball, and you still had a standard figure and slim figure? How shameless must you be to say such words? Han Fei took a closer look and found it was a boy who seemed not much older than him. You have a good eye. Since you're so eloquent, give us all the spirit-swallowing fish, and you can go. The other boat wanted to come, but their 5 fishing masters were in the hands of the other party. If they ran away, what would they say when they returned to the village? The boy from the Heavenly Fire Village also took a long breath. Yes, of course. I'll carry them for you. Chunja and Chenling were dumbfounded. This is only the second time you've come to the level 1 fishery. The first time, you only stayed for an hour, and the second time, you overturned 2 fishing boats and snatched so many spirit-swallowing fish. At this moment, the people of the Heavenly Fire Village all shut up. No one dared to mention the word fatty again. Han Fei looked at the boy and asked, What's your name? The boy paused and then said, Ding you. Han Fei nodded. Okay, since you're so sincere, I've decided to give you a chance. How about forming an alliance with our Heavenly Water Village? Everyone. The people of the Heavenly Fire Village wanted to curse. You just killed 1 fishing master and crippled 3 of us, and now you want to form an alliance with us? Han Fei thought quickly. Forming an alliance often happened in the level 1 fishery. If he forced the people of the Heavenly Fire Village to overturn the boats of the Heavenly Sun Village or the Heavenly Moon Village, would they be bound together in the future? Chen Jiar suggested. Han Fei, we've caught too many fish. Shall we go back first? Chen Ling added, Yes. Our boat has been stuffed with 3,000 caddies of spirit-swallowing fish. I'm afraid we can't fit anymore. Han Fei suggested, It's only the first day. Why do you want to leave? How about we requisition a fishing boat from the Heavenly Fire Village? The people of the Heavenly Fire Village wanted to vomit blood. Someone thought to himself, I've never encountered such a situation in the level 1 fishery for so many years. Han Fei's existence seemed to be a bug in the level 1 fishery. They couldn't beat him or scold him, so they could only accept their fate. On the fishing boat, Chun Jiar suggested, Brother Han Fei, we can't trust the people of the Heavenly Fire Village. We have too few people and fishing boats here. We'd better go back first, gather a group of people, and try again. Chen Linger added, Yes. Although you're very strong now, if you're besieged by several peak-level fishing masters, you will still be in danger. Han Fei suggested, Why don't you go back first? I'll go and see if there are rare fish. The 2 girls didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chun Ling suggested, Rare fish are not so easy to find. Even if there are, they won't tell you. Han Fei muttered, If I had known they were so weak, I would have come here alone. It's not easy for me to go into the water and find fish with the 2 of them. Wait, Chun Ling suddenly pointed to the sea in the distance. Look, what's that? Looking in the direction Chun Ling pointed, they only saw a big golden fish, which seemed to have a big bump on its head, jumping on the sea. Before Chun Jia reacted, someone from the Heavenly Fire Village shouted, God, it's a treasure-digging fish. Read 2. Chapter 114. Han Fei wanted to stretch out his hand to scratch his head, only to find that it was a little inconvenient to reach his head. So he scratched his belly and asked blankly, "That's a fish swimming in the sea. Can we catch it?" Han Fei certainly knew the treasure-digging fish, also known as the rat fish, was the most cunning fish in the level 1 sea. It was called treasure-digging fish because there was a big lump on its head, and there was a treasure in that lump. Sometimes it was a spiritual bead, sometimes it was a refining material, and sometimes it was a spiritual fruit. It was even said that someone had dug out a cultivation method from the head of a treasure-digging fish. But in any case, this fish was quite difficult to catch. Han Fei felt that it might be provoking them by jumping on the surface of the sea over there. Chen Jia asked, "Do you think fishing rods are only used for fishing? The strong can do anything with their fishing rods. It said that they can travel 1,000 miles in an instant with a wave of the fishing rod." That's just a legend, okay? But then Han Fei thought it was possible. If even a floating island as large as the Sky Island could be moved here, it didn't seem particularly exaggerated to catch fish from 1,000 miles away, right? Chun Ling immediately said to the people from the Heavenly Fire Village, "Heavenly Fire Village, raise your fishing boats and leave immediately. Don't affect us catching fish." The people from the Heavenly Fire Village looked hesitant. Treasure-digging fish. It was a rare species that couldn't be seen at all, but they were driven away today. But at this moment, the two boats didn't stop but immediately took off. Rare fish were good, but their lives were more important. Besides, even the treasure-digging fish might not be able to dig out good things. And what if Han Fei couldn't catch them at all? Han Fei scratched his belly and said, "Remember to form an alliance next time. Otherwise, I'll throw you all into the sea to feed the fish next time." The people from the Heavenly Fire Village, Han Fei muttered, "It's a pity that Dingyu is quite sensible." Chen Jia and Chun Ling. Before they asked, the fishing boats had started. Chen Jia controlled the fishing boat and shouted, "Go after them. Xiao Ling, your instant hook is better than mine. You do it." The two of them automatically ignored Han Fei. Although Han Fei's fishing skills were growing very fast, this was Han Fei's first day in the level 1 fishery, so the two of them didn't consider letting Han Fei do it. Therefore, Han Fei naturally became a manual navigation. 300 meters ahead. No, 50 meters to the right. That thing is running really fast, chasing in a straight line, accelerating at the bend. Chen Jia's face darkened. She immediately said angrily, "Shut up. Where did the detour come from?" Han Fei scratched his belly. "Do you feel that the fish has been 100 meters away from us?" Swish. Chun Ling's fishing rod flashed, and the fishing line traveled 100 meters in the blink of an eye. However, this speed was still too slow. When her hook reached the treasure-digging fish, it was always 20 meters away. "It's too slow. This fish is teasing us. It must be. He is bullying us." Chun Ling glared at Han Fei and gritted her teeth. This was the 6th time she cast a hook, but the result was far from what she hoped. Han Fei had a feeling that these two brainless women would not be able to catch the fish, especially since the fish was obviously toying with the three of them. Han Fei sat on the boat, and with a flash between his eyebrows, Little Black and Little White came out. Little White kissed Han Fei's face and spat out a cloud of spiritual energy. Chen Jia seemed to give up, so she teased Han Fei. "Huh, Han Fei, can your spirit-swallowing fish transmit spiritual energy to you?" Han Fei replied, "Yes, occasionally, provided that you feed it with spiritual energy." Chun Ling asked, "What's the point?" Han Fei replied, "It can make the spiritual energy pure." When Han Fei said this, an idea flashed in his mind. "Little Black, catch that stinky fish for me. Don't bite it to death." While talking, Chun Ling cast the fishing rod again, but still missed. Han Fei asked, "Are we in the middle of a level 1 fishery? Did I see a fishing boat?" Chen Jia looked at the black shadow in the distance, and her face changed slightly. "Damn it. Okay, Little Ling, let's give up." Han Fei said, "Wait a minute. How can we just let it go?" Han Fei suddenly stood up. "I've given you a chance. Don't blame me if you can't catch it." Han Fei took out the black iron rod and injected spiritual energy into the long line. Chen Jia thought to herself, Just give it a try if you want. Anyway, it won't take you 2 seconds to try. Ah, I got it, Chun Ling suddenly exclaimed. She had failed to hook it 7 times, but Han Fei just hooked it so casually. Wasn't this a great blow to her? Xinjia was also stunned. No way. Was it just luck? Although they didn't hook it themselves, the 2 girls were still very happy. They were all from their village, so it was better than leaving it to another village. Han Fei retracted the line, and the treasure-digging fish didn't struggle at all and was dragged back by Han Fei like a dead thing. After being dragged onto the boat, Xinjia drove the boat away without hesitation, looking at the big fish in Han Fei's hand as she ran. Han Fei was pinching the lump on the head of the treasure-digging fish and knocking it, only to see the fish struggling in panic. Smack! Han Fei knocked it out with a slap. At this moment, he was thinking whether he should knock the lump on its head or throw it into the demon purification pot to keep the mutant mantis shrimp king company. Chun Ling exclaimed, this treasure-digging fish has been bitten. A piece of meat is missing from its back. Han Fei said, maybe it was bitten by something. Otherwise, how could it run out of the sea? With that said, Han Fei glanced at Little Black. This guy's mouth was bulging. Who else could have bitten the meat if not him? Xinjia asked. Brother Han Fei, shall we open it? Han Fei asked, will it die? Chun Ling replied, no, but it has no contract value. Once the treasure-digging fish loses the treasure bag on its head, it will change from a rare fish to an ordinary fish. Han Fei said, then, I'd better not open it. Both girls nodded. After all, this was also a rare fish species. Although it had no fighting ability, it might have the ability to find treasures. Many people wanted to find a treasure-digging fish to sign a contract with, but couldn't find it. Chun Ling said, well, you can also consider making it your contractual spiritual fish. Unfortunately, we missed this opportunity. There should be few fishing masters in the Heavenly Water Village who haven't signed a contract with it. Xinjia added, it's not suitable to sign a contract here. The treasure-digging fish we just caught must have been seen. I suspect that fishing boats are chasing us around in the dark. Han Fei didn't want to sign a contract with this fish. I have the ability to refine demons. Why would I need a contract with it? Han Fei said, then I'll take it back. This fish is so ugly. Maybe I'll knock it open when we get back. Xinjia stopped the fishing boat after running for more than 300 kilometers. She asked with a smile, Brother Han Fei, have you been very lucky since you were a child? Han Fei shook his head. Am I a person who relies on luck? I rely on my strength. Xinjia curled her lips. You rely on your strength? Do you think there are few people in the Heavenly Water Village who don't know your background? So far, except for the killing of Li Ju, which was incredible to everyone, everything else seemed to be related to Tango. Swish! Just when everyone was relaxed, 5 rays of spiritual energy suddenly shot out from the sky. Xinjia shouted, not good, fish hook. Swish! A cyan light shot through Xinjia in an instant. Han Fei saw clearly that it was an arrow, which directly penetrated Xinjia's left shoulder and nailed her to the deck. Explode. Then Han Fei saw 4 or 5 figures jump down from the sky, and one of them had already prepared a spiritual energy explosion on his long rod. Sister Ling, be careful. Han Fei's face suddenly changed, and his fat body pounced like a tiger and suddenly stood in front of Chun Ling BM. Han Fei. Chun Ling was shocked. She knew that Han Fei's defense power was very strong, but would he be hurt if he blocked this rod unprepared? Unfortunately, there was no time for Chun Ling to think about it. Her body had been pushed away by Han Fei, but she saw a smile on Han Fei's face. The person above Han Fei seemed to be very surprised. They had been paying attention to this fat man for a long time, but he didn't understand why this fat man was so fast. This person only saw 2 cold lights flashing in front of his eyes, and the next moment, he heard a shout behind him. Get away from that fat man. Han Fei's head had turned around. Get away. I gave you face, didn't I? Read 2. Chapter 115. Han Fei's speed was so fast that before the person behind him could react, Han Fei's double knives had been inserted into his left and right shoulders. Oh, asshole. Damn fatty, you're courting death. Little thief, go to hell. At this moment, a total of 5 people landed on Han Fei's white fishing boat. Except for the boy who had been stabbed twice by Han Fei, there were 4 other boys. Han Fei was stunned. They were all teenagers? These people looked the same age as him. Kill him. The 4 of them abandoned Chenling and Chunjia almost at the same time. 2 of the 4 used spiritual energy explosions. One held a bow in his hand, and at this moment, the arrow was already on the bowstring, and the last one used a sword and was already stabbing at Han Fei. Ha! The double knives in Han Fei's hands also surged with spiritual energy, and he also used spiritual energy explosion attacks. In an instant, with Han Fei as the center, a wave of air directly exploded. How is it possible? When the 4 boys realized what happened, they found that Han Fei was unscathed. He was hit by an arrow, a sword, and a rod. I'll kill you. Han Fei stared at one of them. It was this guy who called him Fatty. The 2 knives in his hands turned and slashed down like lightning. Fuse! The boy reacted quickly. He immediately covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover and then fused with his spiritual energy. Han Fei saw a tortoise phantom merge into his body. Puff! Even so, the boy was still slashed away by Han Fei, and his clothes were torn, revealing a long, bloody mark. At this time, Chunjia, and Chenling had already reacted. Both of them instantly fused with their spiritual beasts, and the long rods in their hands were surging with spiritual energy. Humph! Spirit entanglement. The sword-wielding young man retreated, and suddenly countless seaweeds emerged from his side, entangling Chenling and Chunjia. Chunjia's face changed drastically. Spirit entanglement grass? Are you from the town? A phantom appeared in front of Chunjia, and 2 lobster pincers clamped at the spirit entanglement grass. The sword-wielding young man shouted, "Bind!" The spirit entanglement grass instantly shrank, directly binding Chunjia, and Chenling. Er's 2 lobster pincers were directly broken, and she didn't even have the chance to resist. Seeing this scene, Han Fei kicked the purple bamboo rod at his feet, held it in his hand, and smashed it at the sword-wielding young man. The young man didn't panic, and the spirit entanglement grass surged at him. Explode. With Han Fei's spiritual energy, the spiritual energy exploded. The sword-wielding young man's spiritual energy exploded. At this moment, Han Fei was surrounded by 5 people. Although 2 of them were injured by Han Fei, they still seemed to have the power to fight, especially the boy who had been stabbed twice by Han Fei. He had taken a pill, and his face was very gloomy. Didn't you say that the people in the town wouldn't attack us? Han Fei, you said that you and killed, I said, Han Fei. Han Fei said, you can, and you can. You. Han Hai and I. Han Li and Fei and. Han Fei you. Of Li. The young man who was injured by Han Fei shouted in a low voice, "Damn fatty, if you hand over the treasure-digging fish and kowtow to this young master a few times, I might consider letting you go." Han Fei continued to scratch the ground. "Spare me? A loser like you isn't even a match for me. You want to let me go?" The bow-wielding young man said calmly, "Attention, this fatty's defense is very strong. All our attacks can't break his defense, not even his spiritual energy protective cover. Attack him with all your strength." Chunjar scolded, "Asshole, the level 1 fishery depends on our own ability. Why do the people in the town want to suppress us?" The sword-wielding young man sneered, "You said it yourself. The level 1 fishery depends on our own ability, so I just robbed you of your treasure-digging fish." Chunjia frowned but still said to Han Fei, "Han Fei, don't be entangled by the spirit entanglement grass. It will suck up your spiritual energy." Han Fei nodded slightly. "Okay." Han Fei looked at the sky. "It seems that some people haven't come down yet. Are they sure you will win?" A young man sneered, "If we can't even beat a fatty like you, how can we be the heavenly talents of the town?" Han Fei's face became more and more ugly, and his fat lips trembled. "You know what? I hate it when people call me fatty. People in the sky, listen up. If you don't come down, I will kill these guys." Don't blame me for not reminding you. You want to kill us? Are you qualified? The next moment, they all moved, including Han Fei. In an instant, he launched the crazy devil's rod, and his rod was so fast that it startled the five boys. Damn, it's so fast. Is this a fatty? Han Fei's target at this moment was not the others, but the guy holding the bow and arrow. This guy's bow and arrow almost pierced his skin just now. I'll kill you. Clang, clang, clang. There were 3 people standing in front of the bow-wielding youth to protect him. However, what shocked them was that 3 rods were no match for 1 rod. This fatty was so agile that he didn't seem like a fatty at all. The speed at which he struck with his rod was too fast. Behind him, Han Fei felt the spirit entanglement grass coming at him again, but he suddenly stepped into the air. Under everyone's horrified gaze, Han Fei actually stepped on the wind and rose. At that second, everyone was stunned. How could such a fat man step in the air? Explode. Han Fei used a total of 300 points of spiritual energy for this attack, which was almost the total spiritual energy of a junior fishing master. Therefore, when he launched this attack, the boy with a tortoise spiritual beast suddenly rushed forward, roared, and a tortoise phantom floated in the air, as if to resist this attack. BM, Kacha, the tortoise shell phantom burst into pieces, and the boy flew into the sea like a kite with a broken string. Han Fei was confident that this attack had broken the boy's hands. Without hands, he would be dead if he fell into the water. But suddenly, several spirit entanglement grasses stretched out in the air, and the boy was pulled back by the sword-wielding young man behind him. How dare you pull me back? Han Fei immediately abandoned his rod and stepped on the wind. His twin knives were as fast as lightning, and he directly identified the spirit entanglement grasses. But what surprised Han Fei even more was that the bow-wielding young man waved his fishing rod, wrapped it around the boy, and pulled him back again. At the moment when the boy came back, in addition to the spiritual energy protective cover, the 2 people in front of Han Fei seemed to have an extra layer of armor, which was woven with spiritual energy. Huh, something's up. Han Fei looked back at the sword-wielding young man. So, are you the rumored manipulator? The sword-wielding young man frowned. He didn't seem to expect this fatty to be so strong, but he still said arrogantly, "Humph, you're not stupid." Han Fei continued, "Unfortunately, you have no soul warriors, hunters, or spirit gatherers here. What makes you think you can beat me?" Han Fei moved again, but this time he didn't chase the bow-wielding young man, but the sword-wielding young man behind him. Old Jiang said that in a team, only manipulators and spirit gatherers were the most terrifying. Once they met, they should be killed immediately. The sword-wielding young man's face changed, and the spirit entanglement grasses rushed towards Han Fei wildly. Unfortunately, in front of Han Fei's hands that had almost become a shadow, no matter how many spirit entanglement grasses there were, they were all torn to pieces. The sword-wielding young man knew that he couldn't beat the fatty in front of him, so he directly manipulated the spirit entanglement grasses to wrap himself up and circle back to the bow-wielding young man. Han Fei scratched his belly. Not bad. Han Fei looked up at the sky and said again, "The guy in the sky, if you don't come down, I'll kill you. I've already given you 2 warnings." Arrogant. How dare you? Fatty, don't be so arrogant. Fatty, you're just an intermediate fishing master. I'm afraid your spiritual energy has been exhausted, right? You're still bluffing? Seeing that the people in the sky had no intention of coming down, Han Fei burst out in anger. Explode, explode, explode. Han Fei was really angry this time. He didn't want to expose too much of his strength before, but these teenagers were really flexible. Although they were no match for him, they didn't panic. However, when infinite spiritual energy burst out, everyone was dumbfounded. They could take 1 hit, but what about 2? What about 3? At the first hit, the spiritual energy armor and protective cover of the 2 rod-wielding teenagers were directly shattered. At the second hit, Han Fei ignored the flying arrow and directly smashed the 2 rod-wielding teenagers away. One of their rods was bent by Han Fei, and his hands seemed to be broken. At the third hit, the spirit entanglement grasses tried to protect them, but they couldn't withstand the explosion at all and were directly shattered. The sword-wielding young man was smashed away and vomited blood. Fortunately, the spirit entanglement grasses grabbed the railing so that he didn't fall into the sea. The 3 hits seemed to have bought some time for the bow-wielding young man. The bow-wielding young man stepped on the railing and leaped up abruptly. The 3 long arrows in his hands turned into 3 white lights and shot at Han Fei. Read 2. Chapter 116. Spiritual Energy Protective Cover. Han Fei roared, and a palm-sized knife suddenly appeared in his hand. Swish, clank, clank, clank. After 3 strikes, Han Fei took 3 steps back, and the spiritual energy protective cover on his body was shattered by the arrows. He took a deep breath. The bow-wielding boy's attack power was very strong. Even a peak-level fishing master wouldn't dare to take these 3 arrows head-on. Of course, Han Fei was not an ordinary person. When he was hit by these 3 arrows, the bow-wielding boy grunted and fell from the sky. His chest was pierced, and his heart was almost shot by Han Fei. The sword-bearing boy coughed up blood and looked at Han Fei coldly. Despicable. Haha, I'm despicable? Do you think it's a good idea to fight 5 against 1? Explode. Han Fei raised his rod and smashed at them again. Han Fei didn't hold back because he saw these boys were not afraid at all and their attacks and defenses were still stable. If Han Fei's guess was right, the man above was their trump card. BM. Just at the moment when Han Fei smashed his rod out, he saw a middle-aged man standing in front of him and blocking with his rod. Han Fei was sent flying more than 3 meters away and even took 4 or 5 steps back. Stop. Fury. Stop my ass. Han Fei's strength soared explosively in an instant, and he attacked again with the crazy devil's rod. This time, he didn't hold back at all. If it weren't for the fact that he was too weird after fusing with his spiritual beast, he would have fused with it. Huh, so strong. Is he getting stronger again? BM, BM, BM. The middle-aged man had to fight back, and the 2 sides were fighting back and forth. Chun Jia, and Chun Ling were stunned. Han Fei's strength had exceeded their understanding. That was a youth from the town. He had single-handedly taken care of the 2 of them with just 1 move. But it was such a character that Han Fei defeated 5 of them alone. Chun Jia shouted, Han Fei, the other party is a great fishing master. The middle-aged man said, Boy, stop. They are not as good as you. I'll take them away. Get lost. Do you think you can come and go as you please? Do you think I didn't do it? The middle-aged man frowned. Boy, don't go too far. Haha, am I going too far? Explode. Han Fei didn't dare to say that he could defeat a great fishing master, but in terms of strength, he was sure that the person in front of him was definitely no match for him. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Even a great fishing master couldn't resist Han Fei's crazy attacks. The 5 teenagers behind the middle-aged man were dumbfounded. How could this fatty be so strong? That was their teacher. How could he be evenly matched with him? The middle-aged man also seemed to feel embarrassed and shouted, piercing electricity. Then Han Fei saw an electric arc around him. He saw a jellyfish floating above the middle-aged man's head. The jellyfish was generating electricity, and it numbed Han Fei's body. However, this experience couldn't be compared with that of the hexagon starfish. So Han Fei just shook his body and launched another attack. Damn it! The middle-aged man was speechless. Was this fatty's spiritual energy inexhaustible? Why was it still not used up? Just as he took the blow, he saw Han Fei suddenly retreat, and a knife shot out as fast as lightning. Single blade of the universe. The middle-aged man's face changed drastically. Fuse. At that moment, the middle-aged man activated a spiritual energy protective cover, fused with his spiritual beast, and held his rod in front of him. Crack! The middle-aged man was sent flying backward. His mouth was torn, and a trace of blood came out of the corner of his mouth, but he didn't seem to be seriously injured. However, his spiritual energy protective cover and spiritual beast fusion were broken. Cough, cough. Boy, don't challenge my patience. Although you are not weak, you can't hurt my students with me here. In fact, Han Fei was also panting. After all, he was still an intermediate fishing master, and his attack means were limited. Even if he was very strong, he seemed to be weak in front of a real great fishing master. The reason why he used the single blade of the universe was just to see if his current body could withstand the feeling of weakness. But after this attempt, Han Fei felt much better. At least he didn't lose his mind like when he fought Jiang Qin for the first time. At the same time, he also confirmed that a great fishing master was much stronger than a normal fishing master. If the person in front of him was Li Ju, although he was only a half-step great fishing master, he would definitely be killed by him. Han Fei gasped. Your students hurt me for no reason, and you let them use me as a training target. Do you think you can just let it go? The middle-aged man snorted coldly. What do you want? Han Fei sneered. Don't forget, I haven't fused with my spiritual beast yet. The middle-aged man's face changed slightly. Even if you have fused with your spiritual beast, so what? Even if I can't kill you, none of your 5 students can escape. The middle-aged man's eyes were cold. Boy, are you provoking me? Ha ha, Han Fei laughed. I dare not. You are a great fishing master. You are strong. You have a final say. You are from the town, right? Do you dare to tell me your name? While I go to the town, I will challenge you. The middle-aged man was thinking whether he should take the opportunity to kill Han Fei. Anyway, there was no one around, so it shouldn't be a big deal to kill him. What? Want to kill me? Even if you are a great fishing master, what can you do to me? You are at most an intermediate great fishing master, or even a junior great fishing master. Even if I stand still and let you kill me, you may not be able to kill me. How dare you? The middle-aged man frowned. This fatty was right. His defense power was too strong. God knew why there was such a monster in the village. Why didn't such a monster go to the town? Of course, I will challenge you. It's a fair fight. But don't you give me an explanation for your students? They failed to rob my treasure-digging fish. Don't they have to pay for it? Behind the middle-aged man, the sword-bearing boy was slightly angry. Fatty, what do you want? Han Fei's face suddenly changed, and his momentum soared. I'll say it again. Whoever dares to call me Fatty again will die today. So what if your teacher is here? If I really fight, I can kill you even if he is here. The sword-bearing boy shouted. Arrogant! Arrogant! Han Fei waved a knife in his hand, cut off the spirit entangling grasses on Chen Jiaer and Chun Ling, and at the same time poured 2 pillars of spiritual energy into their bodies. At this moment, everyone, including the middle-aged great fishing master, was shocked. The middle-aged man exclaimed, Are you a spirit gatherer? The bow-bearing boy asked. How is it possible? How can a spirit gatherer appear in these fishing villages? As soon as Chun Jiaer and Chen Ling recovered their spiritual energy, they immediately stood up with their rods, ready to fight. Han Fei asked, So, do you just want to leave like this? Han Fei knocked on the boat under his feet with his rod. In such a fierce battle, my boat is intact. Gee, the quality is really good. The middle-aged man's face changed again. He had noticed this just now. Yes, the quality of this boat was so good that it couldn't belong to Han Fei. There must be someone behind Han Fei who is definitely stronger than him. The middle-aged man said, I'm Yinan Fei, a teacher of the fighting department of the 3rd Academy of the Blue Sea Town. Boy, I'm waiting for you to come to the town to challenge me. As for compensation, tell me what you want. The middle-aged man directly mentioned compensation. He had no doubt that the fat man in front of him would fight him to the end. He really didn't dare to kill him now. Han Fei said, A total of 5 people besieged us. I don't want much. Just 5 rare spiritual fish. I'll let you go. Immediately, the 5 boys behind the middle-aged man shouted angrily. Are you crazy for rare spiritual fish? Do you think we have 5 rare spiritual fish? Are you going too far? Han Fei smiled. I'm going too far? You can't beat me. So you say I'm going too far? I see that all of you have exotic spiritual beasts. Can't you even take out 5 rare spiritual fish? The sword-bearing boy replied, I'll give you 2. No more. Han Fei's voice suddenly rose. Do you think I'm joking with you? Do you think I'm a beggar? The middle-aged man took a deep look at Han Fei. Which village are you from? I'm from the Heavenly Water Village. Han Fei, if you want to retaliate, you can come as long as you dare. The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes. I also have a rare spiritual crab here. I'll give you 3 first. The other 2 will be sent to your village leader in 2 days. Han Fei didn't care what he got. In the end, he got a crab and 2 cuttlefish, none of which were fish. But since they were all rare, Han Fei didn't care. Okay, you can go now. The middle-aged man snorted and left with the 5 students. As soon as they boarded the boat, they heard Han Fei say, "The geniuses in the town are just so-so." Read 2. Chapter 117. The sword-bearing boy and the bow-bearing boy stopped and looked back angrily, only to see that Han Fei was scratching his belly with his hand. He didn't look like the wild fatty at all. The fishing boat took off, and a boy said aggrievedly, "Damn Han Fei, don't let me see him again. Otherwise, I won't let him go." The sword-bearing boy didn't speak, but looked at the middle-aged man. "Teacher, is this person really an intermediate fishing master? Why is he so strong? And he is also a spirit gatherer." As soon as the young man said this, everyone fell silent. Yes, that fatty was too strong. They had used all of their battle techniques, but they couldn't even scratch his skin. This huge sense of defeat was almost unbearable. If Han Fei was a genius in the town, it wouldn't be a big deal, but he was just a boy from a fishing village. The middle-aged man said, "This person is not simple. His spiritual energy is extremely abundant. Although he is a spirit gatherer, he didn't absorb spiritual energy for us during the battle. Besides, even I am not as good as him in defensive power, so he must be the best. But anyway, it's not a bad thing for you to fail this time. There is always someone better than you. You just need to know that there is no shortage of geniuses in this world." The middle-aged man paused, and a fishing village can't trap this person. One day, when he steps into the town, the middle-aged man didn't continue, but everyone trembled. If this fatty stepped into the town, what would happen? Can he enter the top 100? The sword-bearing boy asked tentatively. The middle-aged man nodded. "It's possible." Wow, everyone gasped. This was too exaggerated. The top 100 of the 3 academies were all junior peak-level great fishing masters. The bow-wielding youth secretly tightened his grip on the bow in his hand. He had always felt that his explosive power was unparalleled. Even in the town, he would be ranked among the top hundreds. But today, he had not been able to break through his defense. He murmured, "Could it be that I've chosen the wrong path of cultivation?" When a middle-aged man and the others left, Han Fei sat on the deck like a dead pig, groaning, "Sister Jia, let's go back." "No, I'm exhausted. I can't move." Chen Jia, and Chen Ling were dumbfounded. "Didn't you just say that if the other party didn't give you rare spiritual fish, you would fight to the death? So it was all an act?" Chen Jia asked, "Can you still do it?" "No, I feel that my hands and feet are not my own. A great fishing master is really powerful. I hit him with all my strength, but he only slightly hurt him. If we really fight, I'm afraid I'll have to run away." Chen Ling said leisurely, "Han Fei, this is a great opportunity for you. We can't accept that you've suddenly become so strong." Chen Jia agreed. "That's a great fishing master." They started fighting as soon as they said they would, and they even managed to injure him. Even if it was just a light injury, it was something to be proud of. In a level 1 fishery, they had never seen anyone dare to beat a great fishing master in the town. You may not believe it, but you have to be reckless in a fight. Just like tonight, no matter whether you can beat him or not, you have to fight first. Han Fei scratched his belly again. When a middle-aged man took out the 3 rare creatures just now, he really wanted to take out the water-stirring seal and let them stay here. However, when he thought about it, he realized that he might feel good for a moment, but the trouble that would follow would be something that he might not be able to handle. So he might as well give up. After a long rest, Han Fei slowly got up and looked at the 3 spiritual creatures. Lightning crab level, 17 quality. Rare contains spiritual energy, 210 points edible effect. Lightning crab, row, can enhance humans' explosive power collectible crab. Claws absorbable. Han Fei remembered that Zhangpeng's spiritual beast was a lightning crab, and today he got a lightning crab. Han Fei turned his head and looked at the 2 squids. Name Swift Squid level, 16 quality. Rare contains spiritual energy, 140 points edible effect. Long-term consumption can enhance the endurance of human meridians collectible ink gall and can be used to escape absorbable. Han Fei secretly took a breath. He already had a mutant mantis shrimp king and 4 rare creatures. He really wanted to try refining demons here and see what he could refine. Of course, this kind of secret couldn't be shown to outsiders. Han Fei suppressed his inner excitement and decided to go back first. Han Fei said, Sister Sister Shaoling, go to the village leader to get some rare spiritual creatures. I'm going back to cultivate. Chunjia shook her head. No, you robbed them. Chunling nodded. Yes, keep them for yourself. Don't be so polite with me. After all, we're all in the same boat. Who's with who? It's just 2 fish. I'll give them to you. Why do I need so many rare spiritual fish? Chunjia was confused. I really don't need so many. There are only a few people in my fish dragons who are worth giving away. I can't give the rest to fishermen, can I? Chunjia smiled. Okay, thank you, Brother Han Fei. Chunling tilted her head. Wow, we've only been out for 1 day, and we've harvested 6 rare spiritual creatures. This seems to be the most fruitful harvest we've ever had, right? Chunjia added, more than that. We haven't had such a big harvest in decades. Heavenly Water Village. The village leader was stunned and looked at Han Fei as if he was a monster. The village leader asked, Did you fight with a great fishing master? Han Fei scratched his belly. Just a little bit, not a real fight. The 2 girls rolled their eyes. Not a real fight. That last strike of yours felt like you were going to split him in half. Oh, I see. Han Fei, are you really not going to town? Thinking that Xiaoyu would laugh so hard when she saw him, he shook his head. No, I'm not going. I still have a lot of things to do. Grandpa Village Chief, I'm going into seclusion. Bye-bye. Village Chief. He didn't want to be questioned by the village leader. There were some things that he didn't know how to answer. The village leader looked at Chunjia and Chunling. Don't tell anyone about this, including the fishing masters of our village. I have my own plans. Yes, Village Chief. The Fish Dragon's Martial Arts Hall. Han Fei stuffed all the 4 rare creatures into the demon purification pot. He didn't care about the treasure-digging fish. He didn't care about what was in the treasure-digging fish's head. Could it be more than the hexagon starfish? The bad starfish had accumulated a pile of junk for hundreds of years. What could this treasure-digging fish dig up in the level 1 fishery? Then, the content of the demon refinement changed. Mutated mantis shrimp king, treasure-digging fish, lightning crab, swift cuttlefish. 10,000 points of spiritual energy fusion. Result, unknown. Should I refine it? Han Fei looked at his more than 680,000 points of spiritual energy. 10,000 points of spiritual energy was a piece of cake for him. Refine. The 5 rare creatures shattered in the blink of an eye and were sucked in by a dark vortex, and what gradually emerged was a pale golden mantis shrimp with a long tail. Contractual spiritual pet. Name, 9-tailed mantis shrimp, 3 tails. Introduction, mutated mantis shrimp with fast speed and extremely strong attack ability. It is good at hiding itself and sneaking up on prey. When it grows up to its complete form, its 9 tails will turn into the 9 divine chains, and its combat power is extremely strong. Level 14, quality, legendary, spiritual energy greater than 690 points, food omnivorous. Prefers shrimp, remarks, current status. 3 tails. Can continue to be refined. Wow. Damn, this thing is a bit too strong. As soon as Han Fei said so, a mutated mantis shrimp more than 3 meters long appeared in front of him, with 3 long tails made of unknown materials waving behind its butt. The 9-tailed mantis shrimp pounced on Han Fei as soon as it saw him, and it hugged Han Fei with its 6 claws. Go away. Do you think you're a dog? You have no tongue, and your whole body is a shell. BM. Han Fei noticed that the 9-tailed mantis shrimp was bumping into him. He looked down and kicked it away, scaring it into a circle. Han Fei cursed. Are you a shrimp? You're the F** king 9-tailed mantis shrimp. You're as good as Tai Ri Tian. You be * starred. How did I synthesize you? Get back into my body. With a swish, the 9-tailed mantis shrimp turned into a golden light and disappeared into Han Fei's arm. Han Fei hurriedly looked around. Fortunately, he was in the martial arts drill hall. If he were outside, he would be ashamed of himself in the infinite ocean. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that. One day, I was almost eaten by shrimp. Read 2. Chapter 118. Han Fei's contribution this time was huge, so theoretically, he could rest for 3 months or even longer. Of course, Han Fei didn't take it seriously at all. He felt that the level 1 fishery was no longer challenging. Should he consider going to the level 2 fishery? However, before that, he decided to lose weight first. In the plantation, since Han Fei became fat, he had been discriminated against by Old Jiang, and his low status had plummeted. Old Jiang said while basking in the sun, "How long has it been since you last took care of these fields? Today, pull out all the weeds in the field first, and then trim the branches and leaves of those ugly spiritual plants." Han Fei asked, "Grandpa, can I call someone from the fish dragons to do it? Isn't it a waste of time for me to do this?" Old Jiang scoffed. "Oh, look at how fat you are. Can you lose weight without exercising?" Han Fei was speechless. "Can this level of exercise help me lose weight?" Old Jiang waved his hand and threw a ball of water on Han Fei's face. "Shut up. Don't talk back." Han Fei was speechless. "If I had known this would happen, I would have stayed in the fish dragons. Why did I have to come here to suffer?" Now, not only did he have to take care of the land, but he also had to cook. If it weren't for the fact that the old man could drink water whenever he stretched out his hand, he would have asked Han Fei to serve him tea. Fortunately, Jiang Qin's appearance saved him. On the training ground of the plantation, Jiang Qin said, "Although you haven't officially become a soul warrior, with your current size and physical strength, you are fully qualified for the main position of a soul warrior." Han Fei's eyes lit up. "Then can I learn it now?" Han Fei had long felt that he was not the kind of person who could last a long time. The crazy devil's rod didn't improve his strength much, but made him crazy. But fury, which really brought him combat power, couldn't be used for a long time, and universe slash made him feel very weak. Both of them were explosive skills. It was very difficult for him to fight with someone who was also tough. Jiang Qin asked, "I heard that you fought with a great fishing master. How do you feel?" Han Fei replied, "I don't think the other party used his full strength, nor did he use any special combat skills, but I can be sure that the other party's strength and physical fitness are average." Jiang Qin was speechless. An intermediate fishing master said that a great fishing master's strength and physique were mediocre. If it were someone else, he would probably be beaten to death. What else? There's more. The students in the town are quite powerful. Their spiritual beasts are strange, and they have many combat skills. By the way, their weapons are no longer all sticks. In general, long sticks are still the main weapons of fishing masters, because ordinary people can't get in touch with special weapons such as knives, spears, swords, and halberds. Even if they use them, most of the time, they'll just use them like sticks, so they might as well use sticks. I think the bow is good. Its lethality is tremendous. Jiang Qin shook her head. Battle bows are one of the most difficult types of combat skills. Do you think it's easy? Every day, day after day, year after year, only by aiming at imaginary targets and shooting tens of thousands of times can one attain such proficiency in archery. Do you think it's simple? Han Fei scratched his belly. Who didn't know archery? I used to be an advanced student in a professional archery club. Then I'll use a knife. Jiang Qin said, I guess so. With your current size, you still need a broadsword. Sister Qin, please don't make personal attacks. Jiang Qin sneered, but then her face became very serious. Han Fei, let me tell you again. Do you want to become a soul warrior? This is completely different from becoming a spirit gatherer. It's your own chance to become a spirit gatherer. And it's not your chance that I want you to become a soul warrior, but in exchange, if you learn all the skills of a soul warrior from me, then you have to promise me one thing, which may involve your life and death. Seeing Jiang Qin's seriousness, Han Fei stopped being naughty and responded seriously. Sister Qin, let's talk about something first. Jiang Qin turned her back to Han Fei. I didn't want to tell you because you were too weak, but now I've changed my mind. Do you know why Grandpa and I came to the Heavenly Water Village? Han Fei shook his head. He was also surprised. When he first met this old man, he felt that this old man was very unusual. How could a person who owns such a large plantation in the heavenly water village be weak? That was impossible. He was definitely no weaker than the village leader. Then when he saw old Jiang beat the village leader, he didn't even move his feet, but just waved his hand. This was impossible for a great fishing master to do. Jiang Qin explained, Grandpa and I are from the Thousand Star City. Yes, the same place as Feng Zhe. Han Fei smacked his lips. I guessed it. When you talked about Feng Zhe, you showed no respect, so you regarded Feng Zhe as an equal or even lower existence than yourself, right? Jiang Qin looked at Han Fei curiously. You're smart, but why you talk about Feng Zhe without any respect? Isn't he a god in the eyes of everyone in the heavenly water village? Han Fei replied, God? Hey, how can there be so many gods in this world? Feng Zhe is at most an ordinary character in the city. He must be far from those high-level people. He can only be powerful in this small place. Why should I respect him so much? My goal is the infinite ocean. Maybe when I become a god. He hasn't. Han Fei was slapped away and Jiang Qin complained. You're still young, but you're so arrogant. You just got some insignificant opportunities, but you're so arrogant. People like you are easy to die on the road of cultivation. Han Fei got up from the ground. So I have to lose weight so that I can run fast. If I can't beat him, I'll fight him. If I can't beat him, I'll run away. That's the right thing to do. Jiang Qin really wanted to slap this bastard to death. How could he talk about running away so confidently? Jiang Qin waved her hand. Okay, I don't want to talk nonsense with you. The reason why I let you become a soul warrior is that I want you to help me find someone. Han Fei wondered. Sister Qin, you are a soul warrior yourself. Can't you find him? Can't you find him with your strength? Do you think I didn't find him? Grandpa and I have been on the floating island for 3 years and have never stopped looking for him. The reason why I chose you is that your luck is too good. I don't care if it happens once or twice, but if it happens 3, 4, 5, or 6 times, I have to look at you in a different light. Han Fei scratched his belly. Actually, I rely on my strength. Haha. The level 1 fishery and the level 2 fishery have been rummaged through by countless experts. But you can find opportunities in such a place. What do you think I will think of you? You can even enter the seabed grotto and come out alive, which shows that you are a person with good luck. Han Fei was shocked. You know? Jiang Qin curled her lips. How many opportunities can there be in an ordinary fishery? If I guess correctly, you have been to the only 2 opportunities that I can't enter. This is luck. Seeing Han Fei swallow, Jiang Qin waved her hand and said, In fact, there are many places with opportunities. As far as we know, there are hundreds of forbidden places. There are always people who can find opportunities. Han Fei asked weakly, Then why don't the strong explore them? Some people don't want to go in, some people don't want to go in, and some people don't even bother to come to the village. Of course, most of these opportunities are of no use to the strong. Han Fei was disappointed. I thought I had found a great opportunity and kept it a secret, but it turns out that she already knew it. Okay, who are you looking for? Where is he? I don't know. I only know that he last appeared in the heavenly water village or somewhere in the level 3 fishery. Han Fei asked, No, Sister Qin, if you and Grandpa come from the city, is the level 3 fishery difficult for you? Do you know what a dangerous place is? Not to mention the level 3 fishery. Even an unknown dangerous place in an ordinary fishery can still kill countless strong masters. Han Fei asked, So I can find it if you can't? Jiang Qin looked at Han Fei. I'm not counting on you, but you need to help us look for it when the time comes. If I'm not mistaken, this dangerous place is related to the unknown place outside the level 3 fishery, which is far from as simple as you think. Besides, not only you, but I also found someone else, but you seem to have more potential. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. So I'm just a spare tire? Han Fei wondered if the so-called secret was in the treasure left to him by that old B** starred Ren Tianfei, right? This old B** starred was really unpredictable. Based on your performance in the level 1 fishery this time, I'm afraid that someone will come to invite you to the town in a few days. At that time, I'm afraid you will have to go even if you don't want to. If you're willing to learn from me and become a soul warrior, I can help you deal with them. Of course, you can also choose to refuse. Hey, then help me. But let me tell you, if I feel that I definitely can't find that place, or if I find that place, I will definitely die, I will give up. If you have a chance to give up at that time, of course, you just need to convey the news to me. Okay, then let's get started. Read 2. Chapter 119. Plantation Training Ground. Jiangqin explained, soul warriors are different from other professions. Hunters focus on super explosive power, spirit gatherers support their teammates everywhere. Manipulators control the battlefield, and armorists have the top defensive power and single combat ability. And soul warriors, to stabilize the battlefield, must ensure that you have a strong physique, hard combat skills, the ability to attack the enemy's rear, and the courage to press forward. With that, Jiangqin picked up a fine iron rod. Come on, you are now an intermediate peak level fishing master, but you can fight against a great fishing master. When I was an intermediate fishing master, I might not even be able to defeat those who are not intermediate fishing masters. Now I'll suppress my realm to that of an intermediate fishing master and fight you. Han Fei was shocked. Sister Qin, you don't have to fight so hard, right? Jiangqin didn't speak and rushed up. Just like last time, it seemed to Han Fei that it was a meaningless battle. But when Jiangqin struck out with the rod, her spirit changed instantly. Clang! Han Fei raised his rod to block. To be honest, I feel I'm invincible among intermediate fishing masters now. But Jiangqin dodged to the side, and the fine iron rod in her hand slashed at him from the side like a knife. Han Fei chose to take it head-on because he felt that the knife light condensed from spiritual energy couldn't hurt him at all. Han Fei waved the crazy devil's rod in his hand and collided with the fine iron rod in Jiangqin's hand again and again, making clanging sounds. Fuse! In an instant, Jiangqin's momentum soared and a suit of armor suddenly appeared on her body. Han Fei wasn't sure because the armor on Jiangqin's body was too real. In addition to the armor, 6 spider-like claws stretched out from her back. Swish, 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 Han Fei's face changed. These spider feet could change positions. When Jiangqin kicked, when she punched, Han Fei felt that he was fighting with 4 people head-on. Damn, 3 heads and 6 arms. This was Han Fei's first impression. He was like Neza with 3 heads and 6 arms, but he was even more terrifying than Neza. 8 hands fighting against 2 hands. How terrifying was that? Jiangqin seemed to have gone crazy, and her attack speed was extremely fast. Han Fei could see that Jiangqin had also compressed her spiritual energy to that of an intermediate fishing master. So at this moment, she consumed as much as she wanted. Ding, ding, ding. Han Fei realized that his Mad Devil's rod was completely useless. No matter how fast the rod was, it couldn't block the lightning-fast attacks of 4 people. For a moment, Han Fei's body was pierced by the needles. Just when Han Fei thought it was over, he heard Jiangqin shout, "Burn!" At that moment, Jiangqin's voice hit his ears, and Han Fei felt that his blood was boiling. He was so angry that he wanted to attack Jiangqin. Han Fei ignored the spider legs and unleashed his spiritual energy. "Explode! Shield wall!" Jiangqin shouted, and the 6 spider horns instantly closed, forming a large shield. Bang! Han Fei frowned. So strong. Han Fei was sure that he didn't hold back, but facing Jiangqin, who was in the same realm as him, he felt like he was facing a great fishing master. Jiangqin, who was not flying, ran quickly with the spider legs on her armor, shouting, "Thunder strike!" The 6 spider legs closed again and turned into a sharp thorn. Han Fei stabbed it with all his strength. With a clang, Han Fei took 3 or 4 steps back in the billowing airwaves, and Jiangqin had taken the opportunity to go behind him. Just when Han Fei turned around, he felt that his back had been stabbed dozens of times. Han Fei roared, "Fury!" Then before Han Fei could complete the transformation of fury, Jiangqin shouted at the same time, "Spiritual energy shock." In an instant, the spiritual energy in Han Fei's body stagnated, and fury was interrupted by this shock wave before it was completed. And at this moment, all 6 spider legs were pointed at his throat. Jiangqin was out of breath. Han Fei's body was too strong. Even she found it difficult to fight Han Fei at the same realm. Although it seemed that she was crushing Han Fei in all aspects, the result wouldn't be like this even if Han Fei had just become a soul warrior. Han Fei swallowed. Sister Qin, is this the power of a soul warrior? Jiang Qin canceled the fusion and gasped. Yes, you thought I relied on my spiritual beast. In fact, I used at least 12 combat skills just now. A soul warrior who goes all out will never know what retreat is. Even if they die, they will never take a step back. And in such a battle, if I have enough spiritual energy, I will keep fighting. If there is a spirit gatherer here to help me, I can never stop unless I'm not as good as the enemy and am killed by the enemy. Wow, Han Fei could imagine that scene. If a terrifying soul warrior like Jiang Qin had a constant supply of spiritual energy, how could he continue fighting? He might as well admit defeat. Jiang Qin looked at Han Fei and said seriously, although I don't know where my senior brother went, he once said that it was a dangerous place left by a soul warrior. If this is the case, only soul warriors and armorists can explore that dangerous place, which is why I want to guide you to become a soul warrior. Han Fei asked, then do I have to learn a dozen combat skills first? Don't be greedy. You didn't use your full strength just now. Tomorrow, I will take you to the bottom of the sea for training, but at that time, I will use the strength of a great fishing master. Jiang Qin went back to sleep. Han Fei stood on the training ground and scratched his belly from time to time. In a battle between intermediate fishing masters, he was pressed to the ground. If it weren't for his strong physique, he would have died many times. This was a great blow to him. The moonlight was clear and the cool breeze was blowing. Old Jiang walked over slowly with a bottle of wine and sneered. Do you know how powerful I am? This is a reckless choice of profession. Don't you know that every battle soul master is a lunatic? Han Fei scratched his belly and said with a little bitterness, I thought being a soul warrior would be as simple as being a spirit gatherer, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Puff! Old Jiang was speechless. As simple? Please go to the town. When you go to the city, ask whether a spirit gatherer or a soul warrior is easier. You don't know *T. Old Jiang mocked Han Fei mercilessly, threw a jade slip to Han Fei, and left with the wine jug. Han Fei glanced at the jade slip in his hand and glanced inside. Spirit gathering array, water gathering technique, water control technique, water spirit array. A jade slip contained 4 kinds of things. Han Fei took a deep breath. Is this the secret of old Jiang's free water control? He had been eyeing this for a long time. He didn't expect the old man to give it to him today. It was really a surprise. The next day, the village leader led a middle-aged man to the plantation. Han Fei was making breakfast. When he saw the village leader, he couldn't help but say, Grandpa Leader, you came at the right time. I've just made breakfast. Would you like to eat with me? The village leader replied, No, Han Fei, I'm here to see you today. Han Fei scratched his belly and asked in surprise, What can I do for you? The village leader explained, This is Mr. Shan, a teacher from the 3rd Academy in the town. He is a peak-level great fishing master, and he personally invites you to join the school in the town. Shan was looking at Han Fei up and down. He seemed to be attracted by Han Fei's fat body. Shan asked, I heard that you defeated 5 students from the 3rd Academy alone and still have the strength to fight with Han Fei? Shan's eyes lit up. With his strength, he could see that Han Fei was still an intermediate fishing master. He couldn't help but say to the village leader, Old Zhao, why don't you send such an excellent student to the town? Why do you want to bury him here? The village leader replied, Hey, let's see if you can persuade him. Shan asked, Han Fei, right? Are you willing to go to the town with me to study? I can assure you that you will definitely become one of the top 100 heavenly talents in the town in 3 years at most. Han Fei blinked. No. Shan was dumbfounded. Do you have to answer me so straightforwardly? I still have a lot of conditions that I haven't told you yet. Shan said, Student Han Fei, you have to know that you have no future in the village, but it's different in the town. There are the most comprehensive combat skills, all kinds of advanced fishing techniques, and there are teachers who can lead you to practice, which is not available in the village. I said I won't go. Why do you talk so much nonsense? Old Jiang walked out with a dark face, pointed at Sher Shan's nose, and said, "Get out of here. Don't you see I'm going to have breakfast?" Sher Shan was stunned. Who is this old man? Why is he so arrogant? The village leader warned, "Old Jiang, watch your mouth. I've already given you face by not kicking you two out. How dare you take away my disciple? Do you think I'm giving you face?" Read 2. Chapter 120. Sher Shan's face changed slightly. Your disciple? Han Fei also looked at old Jiang. When did I become your disciple? Make yourself clear. Old Jiang asked, what? Do you look down on me? Go back and ask Chu Mingxue if I'm qualified. Sher Shan's face changed again. Does this old man know the president? Doesn't this person have the strength of a hanging fisher? But even so, Sher Shan didn't give up. If Han Fei was really as powerful as Nan Fei said, he should be a heavenly talent in the town. How could he let such a person go? Sher Shan asked, Senior, it's up to Han Fei to make his choice, right? Han Fei scratched his belly. I'm not going. I still have a lot of things to do here. Sher Shan's face was black. Kid, can you be more sensible? Don't you know what an opportunity is? Did you hear that? Hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my meal. Sher Shan was aggrieved, but this old man seemed to have revealed his identity to him. He didn't dare to force him, so he could only suppress his anger. Humph! Han Fei, I heard that you and Nan Fei said you would go to the town to challenge him. Then I'll wait for you at school. The village leader stared at him and finally patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Lose weight. Han Fei. At this time, Jiang Qin came out of the house lazily, picked up a bowl, scooped out the fish balls in the bowl, and put them into her mouth. Let's go after breakfast. Half a year later, after half a year of training, Han Fei had lost a lot of weight, but his height had been growing under this high-intensity battle, and he was already more than 6 meters tall. But recently, Han Fei was a little distressed. He had nearly 700,000 points of spiritual energy, but now he only had less than 70,000 points left, which made him very sad. He felt that he should take a leave and find a chance to go out and look for treasures. In the morning, Han Fei was cooking potato stew fish balls, which were steaming hot at this moment. Seeing Jiang Qin go out, Han Fei greeted her. Sister Qin, it's time for breakfast. Are we still going to the level 1 fishery today? No training today and no training in the future. Huh? Holding the spoon, Han Fei was stunned. He asked tentatively, have I finished my apprenticeship? You still have a long way to go. You just adapted to fighting with me. But there are as many combat skills in this world as there are stars in the sky, and all kinds of spiritual beasts have their own characteristics. The underwater battles are no longer of much help to you. Go to the village and help. Help? Jiang Qin said carelessly. The resource competition has begun. Since you're still in the village, go and help. Let's get in touch with the experts from the other villages. Resource competition? Jiang Qin continued. Every year, the 8 villages under the jurisdiction of the Blue Sea Town will select the most outstanding fishing masters in the villages to compete with each other to decide the distribution of spirit awakening fluid resources. Han Fei was surprised. Spirit awakening fluid has to be won through competitions? Jiang Qin sneered. Do you think I gave it to you for free? Remember, if the other party is not a great fishing master, you're only allowed to use the strength of an intermediate fishing master. Okay, no problem. At this moment, old Jiang slowly walked out of the house and said leisurely, except for the basic spirit gathering art, don't use the spirit gathering array, water control technique, water spirit array, and other spirit gathering combat skills. Han Fei nodded again. Okay. Han Fei knew that he had finished his apprenticeship. When he walked out of the plantation, the smile on his face became more and more obvious, and the grin on his face became wider and wider. Ha ha ha, I finally don't have to farm anymore. The fish dragons had now become the second largest force in the Heavenly Water Village, only slightly weaker than the Wang family. But in terms of making money, the fish dragons could almost crush the Wang family. Internal meeting of the fish dragons. Han Fei asked, did anyone come to make trouble during my seclusion? Young master. Don't worry, no. Okay, I got it. Lil gang, How's the business of our fish dragons recently? Li Gang was no longer the little gangster he used to be. He seemed to follow in Han Fei's footsteps, and his belly was even bigger than before. Young master, in the past 6 months, our fish dragons have been making money every day. We have opened hot pot restaurants in the east, west, south, and north, and the number of fish dragon card rooms has doubled. We have a stable income of about 200 mid-quality pearls every day, and even 500 mid-quality pearls at our peak. Han Fei was surprised. This fatty had a talent for business. Can you manage it? Li Gang said flatteringly. Young master, there are more than 200 people in our gang now. The number of members of the fish dragons has reached more than 800, and this is the result of careful selection. Among them, 3 fishing masters have joined us, and our strength is growing day by day. Han Fei waved his hand. Then how much money do we have now? Half a month ago, our gang had 50,000 mid-quality pearls. Hearing this number, Han Fei was shocked. 50,000 mid-quality pearls. He only had 20 C coins at the beginning, but now he had become a local tycoon? Han Fei chuckled. Lil Gang, take out 10,000 mid-quality pearls and distribute them to the gang members. Don't be greedy. Even the most ordinary gang member can get at least 5 mid-quality pearls. As for how to distribute them, I don't care. Will it affect the normal development of the gang if I take 30,000 mid-quality pearls? Li Gang and the others were shocked. Take out 10,000 mid-quality pearls as a bonus? How willful was he? Li Gang hurriedly patted his chest. No, young master, you are too kind, but won't 10,000 be too much? Han Fei said, only when you have money will you work hard. You have to learn this truth. Yes, the fish dragons were no longer a competitive gang. Han Fei felt that if it weren't for the limited resources in the plantation, this business could be opened in the town or even the city, and he would definitely become a top tycoon. After dealing with the affairs of the fish dragons, Han Fei went to the village leader's house. Maybe influenced by Jiang Qin, he didn't dislike fighting at all and was even a little excited. 8 villages. Those who could come to participate in the competition must not be simple, right? The village leader's house. When Han Fei arrived, he found that there were more than 50 fishing masters in the village leader's house. Wow, brother Han Fei, have you finished your cultivation? Chen Jia was the first to greet him. She patted Han Fei's chest hard and smiled happily. Han Fei's face changed. Stop, you can't touch a man's chest. Bah, Chen Jia blushed. How old are you? What's wrong with me touching your chest? Han Fei was taken aback and looked at the source of the sound, only to be surprised. He xiao you? When did you come back? Ha! Han Fei, you really became a big fatty, huh? Are you trying to kill me? Han Fei's face turned black. He knew this would happen. What's wrong with being a fatty? Did I eat your big yellow croaker? Han Fei said, He xiao you. Shut up, little shorty. Can you be more reserved like a girl? Who are you calling a little shorty? Who are you calling a big fatty? Just when Han Fei was bickering with Xiao Yu, Han Fei saw a few other people. Wang Baiyu nodded at Han Fei. Hu Kuan looked at Han Fei coldly and was still not so friendly. Although Xiao Wushuang didn't participate in the awakening, his spiritual heritage was of a high level. He was recruited by the town as an exception and was now a fishing master. As for Xiang Nan and the others, Han Fei was not familiar with them, so he didn't greet them. He Xiaoyu jumped up and down. Han Fei, we just got home today. I heard that you opened a pot restaurant. It's said to be very delicious. Shall we go there later? Han Fei said, Be careful or you'll become a fatty. He Xiaoyu scoffed. I'm not as fat as you. If my father hadn't told me that you had become a big fatty, I wouldn't have recognized you just now. Can you not call me a fatty every time you open your mouth? Cough, cough. Okay, don't make a fuss. We still have business to attend to. The village leader looked at Han Fei and said calmly, Is it over? Han Fei scratched his belly. Yes. Okay, since it's over, you will lead the juvenile group this time. Han Fei was stunned. What juvenile group? Why is it him? Is he qualified? Read 2. Chapter 121. Hu Kuan stood up. He still hated Han Fei. Now that he had a chance to humiliate Han Fei, he had to stand up. Everyone frowned, and Zhao Dabai said loudly, "Boy, how long have you been in the town? How many times have you been to the level 1 fishery? Are you going to lead the team?" Chao Fei added, "Boy, if you have a chance, you could go to the level 1 fishery and have a real battle. Don't talk nonsense if you haven't experienced actual combat." Hu Kuan was speechless, and his face turned red. He could criticize Han Fei, but he couldn't criticize these seniors. Xiao Wushuang, Wang Baiyu, and the others were very surprised. It seemed that Han Fei was very familiar with these people and had experienced many actual battles in the level 1 fishery. Han Fei ignored Hu Kuan and wondered, "Leading the team? Aren't we going to participate in some resource competition?" Chao Fei explained, "The so-called resource competition is actually a competition of the potential and heritage of each village. The stronger the village is, the greater the potential of the village, so the more spirit-awakening fluid it can get." Zhang Peng added, "Besides, most of the resource competition is carried out underwater, which is the best place to experience the strength of each village." "Underwater?" Zhang Peng said solemnly. "Do you think the resource competition is a fight?" "No. What is the original ability of fishing masters? It's fishing and the exploration of the ocean. Fighting is just to make us better survive in the fishery, and fishing is our vocation." The village leader said, "Okay, the juniors haven't experienced these things, so they don't quite understand. Let me briefly explain it to them. The so-called resource competition is mainly divided into 3 competitions. The first one is fishing on the sea. Everyone shows their skills. The village that catches more rare spiritual fish wins. The second one is underwater exploration. The village that finds the most valuable things in the exploration wins. The third one is fighting. Fighting itself is not the goal. Sharpening oneself through fighting is the real meaning." Wang Baiyu asked, "Leader, the reason why we divide the teams into juvenile groups is to measure the current strength and future potential strength of the village?" The village leader nodded. "Yes, you're the future of the Heavenly Water Village. As long as you don't leave the Blue Sea Town, you may often participate in such resource competitions in the future." Immediately, the group of youths became excited. This was the first time they were participating in a major event in the village. After participating in the resource competition, no one could treat them as children anymore. This was a good opportunity to measure the so-called geniuses of other villages. At noon, Han Fei led a group of fishing masters to his family's hot pot restaurant. He Xiaoyu was so engrossed in eating that she didn't even have the mood to talk. It was needless to mention the others. He Xiaoyu often had barbecue. The others couldn't even afford barbecue before, so they rarely ate it. Xiao Wushuang asked, "Han Fei, how strong are you now?" Han Fei rolled his eyes. "Do you want me to tell you that I've reached the peak?" "An intermediate fishing master," Han Fei said with a smile. He Xiaoyu complained. "I'm just a junior fishing master." Wang Baiyu said, "It seems that although Brother Han is in the village, his strength is not lagging behind at all. Just SOSO. It's not as good as you in the town." Han Fei was about to ask why, when he heard Zhao Dabai's loud voice from the next table. "Boy Han, that's because you haven't been to the town. Do you think there are no geniuses in the town? It's their first time there. It's already good enough that they're not beaten to death by others." Han Fei looked at the others and looked puzzled. He Xiaoyu said, "Some people are too much. They bully us from the village." "Humph. Most of them are local children in the town, and there are also people from the Heavenly Moon, Heavenly Sun, and Heavenly Heart villages. They're also very arrogant and often bully others." Han Fei asked, "So you are often beaten?" He Xiaoyu bared her teeth. "What do you mean beaten? It's a conflict." Han Fei asked, "So did you win or lose?" Everyone, Han Fei knew that this reaction meant that they had lost. He immediately slapped the table and said, "When I go there, I'll get back at you." Hu Kuan, who had been silent, snorted. "Do you think you can win as an intermediate fishing master? Do you know that their strongest students are already great fishing masters?" Xiao Wushuang nodded. "Yes, it is said that the top 10 students of the 3 academies in the town have basically become advanced great fishing masters or even peak-level great fishing masters. They are really talented." Han Fei's eyelids twitched. So powerful. Han Fei secretly took a breath. A peak-level great fishing master at the same age as him is a bit strong. Wang Baiyu eased the atmosphere. In fact, you don't have to worry too much. In the 8 villages we know, no one has become a great fishing master yet. At most, they're half-step great fishing masters. Xiao Wushuang interrupted. No, you forgot one person. The guy from the Heavenly Heart village became a great fishing master the day before yesterday. Everyone was stunned, and the people at the table next to Zhao Dabai also sighed. Are young people nowadays so strong? He is only a few years old, but he has already become a great fishing master. How can these veteran fishing masters accept this? Wang Baiyu explained, this time we are acting jointly, so there is no competitive relationship between us. Let's think about how to catch rare spiritual fish. He Xiaoyu suggested, use special bait. I heard that the locals in the town don't use green bait. Xiangnan added, special bait are very rare. Marching sea leeches, shrimp pearls, and golden nematodes are very difficult to find. I'm afraid we can't afford high-quality pearls, so we can only fish with our own spiritual energy, but this consumes a lot of spiritual energy. Han Fei blinked. Didn't you learn the profession of spirit gatherer in the town? Wang Baiyu. I remember that you have also learned the spirit gathering art, right? Wang Baiyu smiled bitterly. So what? I haven't even learned it yet. How can I give spiritual energy to others? Ah. Dozens of people at the next table laughed. Wang Baiyu said with a black face, spirit gatherer and manipulator are the 2 most difficult professions among the 5 major professions. What's so funny about me? Chun Ling giggled. Then why don't you ask Han Fei? He has already become a spirit gatherer. What? Everyone at Han Fei's table was shocked. Even Hu Kuan's eyes widened. He Xiaoyu asked, have you become a spirit gatherer? Han Fei said, don't be excited. Just eat. Everyone, Wang Baiyu asked, Han Fei, have you learned the spirit gathering art so quickly? He Xiaoyu's eyes also flickered, and no one knew what she was thinking. Han Fei suddenly felt a sense of satisfaction. Haha, isn't it awesome? Marvel. Be shocked. I like to see you look like you've never seen the world before. Xiao Wushuang's eyes lit up. Then we don't have to worry about the bait. We can use spiritual energy as bait. Xiangnan nodded. I have no objection to this, Captain. Hu Kuan was dumbfounded. No way. Han Fei had learned the spirit gathering art. Wasn't this a joke? After so many years, how could he not know whether Han Fei was a genius or not? Han Fei waved his hand. No problem. You can have as much spiritual energy as you want. After dinner, He Xiaoyu and the others rarely came back. At this moment, they all went home to see their parents, but Han Fei had no one to see him. So he stayed in the Fish Dragons and called Li Gang, Li Qing, and Li Gan to play cards. Li Gan muttered, 3 with 2. Li Qing added, bigger than you. Li Gang added, bomb. Han Fei looked at the cards in his hand and said helplessly, I can't afford it. After a few rounds, Han Fei asked in boredom, Gangzi, do you think the town is good? Han Fei was a little surprised today because he saw that everyone seemed to have changed. Even though Hu Kuan was still full of hostility to him, his temperament had changed. He Xiaoyu also changed. She used to be a silly girl, but this time she came back. She was full of mischief. Only when the environment changed greatly would people think of all kinds of evil ideas. Li Gang said, Young master, we have never been to the town, but I think it should be good. Otherwise, why are there no great fishing masters in our village? Li Gan added, yes, I have been there once. Very, very shocking. Han Fei was about to ask Li Gan, but on second thought, he might have fallen asleep by the time Li Gan finished speaking. Han Fei threw away the cards. 3, one more. You can find someone to play with. I'm going out. He Xiaoyu's home. He Mingtang glanced at Han Fei and said with a look of disgust, Han Fei, why haven't you lost weight yet? Han Fei. He Mingtang scoffed, you can't take Xiaoyu out for a walk. Han Fei's face was all black. What do you mean? What do you mean? Read 2. Chapter 122. Han Fei. The sound of someone going down the stairs came over, and He Xiaoyu rushed down happily. He Xiaoyu. I came to ask you about the situation in the town. Didn't you say you wouldn't go to the town? I still have to go. I guess I'll be back soon. At this time, He Xiaoyu's mother came out. Oh, Han Fei is here. Old He, why do you keep your daughter outside? He Mingtang looked unhappy. I'm afraid that this boy will abduct my daughter. He Xiaoyu blushed. Dad, what are you talking about? Mr. He, I won't abduct her. Can I stay at your house? Humph. He Xiaoyu stood on the stairs and shouted, Come and play fish dragon cards with me. How did you come up with such a fun game? No, I won't, He Xiaoyu said. Come and play. Dad, Mom, come and play cards. We don't lack people. Surprisingly, He Mingtang and He Xiaoyu's mother didn't object. As soon as they heard their daughter's call, they both came to the table. Han Fei asked, So you're short of one? So Han Fei, you can come here often to play. We're going to be a family. You can have a deck of cards. He Xiaoyu blushed. Mom, what are you talking about? Mrs. He smiled and didn't speak. He Mingtang asked, You want to ask Xiaoyu about the town? Why? Do you want to go to the town? Han Fei replied, Yes, I'm thinking about it. A pair of threes? Why didn't you go? A pair of fives. I didn't have time at that time. It was better to stay in the village, where I had more freedom. He Xiaoyu added, A pair of eights, but we've all become fishing masters since we went to the town. Our speed is much faster than in the village. Mrs. He scoffed. Faster? Don't brag. You made a breakthrough so fast, but you still can't catch up with Han Fei. During this time, Han Fei has been living in seclusion. Do you think you haven't done anything? He Mingtang shrugged. No, it's not suitable for you to go to the town now. The schools in the town haven't started to enroll students. You refused to go before. It's not good for you to go now. A pair of twos? I heard that there is a fourth academy in the town. Do you know He Xiaoyu? He Xiaoyu replied, No. Wow, you want to go to the fourth academy? Don't go there. There aren't many students in that school. It's very run down. Han Fei was deep in thought. Old Jiang told him that if he wanted to go to the town, he should go to the fourth academy. Han Fei thought that the school recommended by the old man must be reliable, but why did He Xiaoyu sound so unreliable? After a round, He Xiaoyu muttered, Let's wait for next year. Go to our school. There are a lot of geniuses there, and many of them have exotic spiritual beasts, and the 5 professions are not uncommon. If you don't want to go, I'll go to the fourth academy. I'll beat the other 3 academies. He Xiaoyu chuckled. After dinner at He Xiaoyu's house, Han Fei learned a lot of things. It turned out that rare spiritual fish could be bought in the market in the town. It turned out that the 5 classes were not rare. It turned out that they would not come to the village. It turned out that there were many different fishing techniques. The next day, everyone gathered at the village leader's house. There were 38 junior fishing masters, 63 intermediate fishing masters, 32 advanced fishing masters, 8 peak-level fishing masters, and none great fishing masters. There were only 14 people in the juvenile group Han Fei was in. Most of them hadn't become fishing masters yet and were still studying in the town. Among these 14 people, only Xiao Wushuang was an intermediate fishing master, and even Wang Baiyu was only a junior peak-level fishing master. The village leaders said, Han Fei, the juvenile group you lead will compete with the juvenile groups of other villages, but don't underestimate those people. They're basically from the town, and some of them may be spirit gatherers. Han Fei asked, Leader, can we beat them? If we beat them all, won't we win? The village leader rolled his eyes. Not in the first 2 games. The mayor is in the sky. Unless you compete for the same item, you can't beat them. If you want to fight, save it for the 3rd game. Let's go. In an instant, more than 30 fishing boats flew across the sky and left quickly. Among them, a white fishing boat was the most conspicuous. At this moment, many people in the Heavenly Water Village looked up. Someone murmured, I hope we can get a higher ranking this time. Our village gets 2 little spirit awakening fluid every year. Someone sighed. What do we do? The Heavenly Heart, Heavenly Moon, and Heavenly Sun villages occupy good positions. It's hard to beat them. Someone said solemnly, I just hope not so many people die this time. There were a total of 4 people on Han Fei's fishing boat. Himself, Wang Baiyu, Xiao Wushuang, and He Xiaoyu. And the other 10 people were on the other 2 fishing boats. Xiao Wushuang asked. Wang Baiyu, are the weapons ready? Wang Baiyu nodded. Don't worry, I've already prepared them. Han Fei asked curiously, what's in your box? Wang Baiyu smiled. Some auxiliary fishing weapons. After all, rare spiritual fish are not easy to catch. Once they come out of the water, we must strike them with a thunderous blow. Han Fei asked, He Xiaoyu, what abilities does Little Red have? He Xiaoyu replied, her tracking ability is very strong, and her combat ability is also very strong. Once she is hooked, it's not a problem to entangle the rare spiritual fish. Han Fei looked at Xiao Wushuang. Xiao Wushuang explained, my spiritual beast is a human-faced crab, which has the ability to create illusions. Han Fei was stunned. Is there such a crab? Xiao Wushuang replied, it's an exotic species. It can't fight with it. Han Fei thought for a while. Do you know what rare spiritual fish like best? He Xiaoyu replied, I know. Linnet likes to eat food that is full of spiritual energy and fish brains. Wang Baiyu added, all spiritual creatures like things full of spiritual energy. So Han Fei, your identity as a spirit gatherer is a very powerful help. In the center of the level 1 fishery, nearly 600 fishing boats were floating on the water. Han Fei was stunned. Why are there so many fishing boats? There are less than 50 fishing boats in our village, right? He Xiaoyu replied, what can we do? Because there are many fishing masters in the village. This wasn't a fair competition to begin with. 8 villages and 16 fishing boats were meeting. Han Fei was the captain of the juvenile team of the Heavenly Water Village, so he also needed to go meet the other captains. Han Fei was not familiar with the captain of the adult team. He only knew that his name was Qin Hai, a peak-level great fishing master. Qin Hai, are you still alive? The captain of the Heavenly Sun Village said with a smile. Qin Hai replied, I won't die even if you die. The captain of the Heavenly Wood Village scoffed. Old Qin, you won't beat me this time. Qin Hai scoffed. Sit tight, as the last place in 10,000 years. The captain of the Heavenly Moon Village was a woman. She snorted proudly. A third from the bottom is laughing at others who are last. Interesting. The captain of the Heavenly Wood Village scoffed. Zhang Yu, don't be so disgusting. Hey, fatty, are you the captain of the juvenile team of the Heavenly Water Village? You are so fat. Can you swim in the water? Han Fei was watching the great fishing masters quarreling with each other with great interest. Suddenly hearing someone scolding him, he immediately turned his head. Again from the Heavenly Sun Village? Han Fei chuckled. When I first came to the level 1 fishery, I killed 2 fishing masters from the Heavenly Sun Village. Oh, at that time, did your Heavenly Sun Village lose 8 or 9 people? The boy from the Heavenly Sun Village snorted coldly. I hope you could survive to the 3rd round. At that time, I will cut off your fat body. A sturdy boy from the Heavenly Fire Village looked at Han Fei coldly. Fatty, I heard from Ding Yu that you robbed 3 fishing boats from us. Come and try to rob us again. Han Fei asked, which Ding Yu? I don't know him, but look at your poor face. What's there for me to rob? You're arrogant. Let's see who's better. The captain of the juvenile team of the Heavenly Heart Village was a girl. She looked at Han Fei. You're really ugly. Han Fei said, Miss, it's your fault to judge a book by its cover. I was very handsome before I became fat. Right, He Xiaoyu? He Xiaoyu was stunned. Are you handsome? Why don't I feel it? But I can't be too arrogant at this time. So I immediately said, yes. I'm much better looking than you ugly people. Han Fei, Wang Baiyu, Xiao Wushuang, they were speechless. He Xiaoyu, you've offended 7 villages with just a few words. Read 2. Chapter 123. This kind of meeting was full of dirty words and hatred. Han Fei felt that his side had already offended the other side. Of course, it didn't matter. Anyway, if they dared to provoke him, he would just beat them to the ground. Wang Baiyu explained. The woman from the Heavenly Heart Village is called Fong Qing. It is said that she is a peak-level fishing master, and some people say that she has become a great fishing master, but I don't know the details. Her spiritual beast is a green snake eel. The captain of the Heavenly Sun Village is called Gu Longyu from the combat department of the 2nd Academy. It is said that he is a soul warrior, and his spiritual beast is a dragon-head fish. His strength is unknown. Have you seen them in the town? Xiao Wushuang nodded. Yes, but only these people are famous. The only one who is slightly famous is the weak-looking girl from the Heavenly Wood Village. Her name is Miao Mu Mu, a manipulator. Han Fei suddenly said, "Do you think there are hunters and armorists on their side?" Wang Baiyu shrugged. "I don't know. There should be." Han Fei looked back. All 5 classes are missing 1 hunter. So let's assume that there is a hunter among them. On the other side, the villagers were discussing on their way back. The captain of the Heavenly Fire Village said, "It's strange. The captain of the Heavenly Water Village is neither Wang Baiyu nor Xiao Wushuang, but a fatty. Be careful. This fatty is weird. Heavenly Heart Village. If we have a conflict with the Heavenly Water Village, avoid that fatty. There is absolutely no such person in the 3 academies in the town, but this person can suppress Wang Baiyu and Xiao Wushuang. We have to be careful." It was the same for the other villages. Everyone came back from the town and knew each other, so when they first saw Han Fei, they all felt strange and then became vigilant. When they came back, 8 fishing boats were flying in the sky, and the village leaders were standing on the bows. In front of them, there was another person who was said to be the mayor of the Blue Sea town. With wings on his back, he turned out to be a hidden fisher at the same level as Feng Zhe. The mayor said flatly, "The competition will end at this time tomorrow. Fishing masters will be ranked according to the number of rare spiritual fish they get. Now I announce that the competition officially begins." For a time, many fishing boats floated in the air. Han Fei also drove the fishing boat away. In the end, he asked Qin Hai together. Qin Hai replied, "No, you guys can leave on your own. Our side is much more dangerous than yours." During the 2 days of the resource competition, no one was allowed to enter the Level 1 fishery, so this 1,000-kilometer sea area seemed particularly vast. The 3 fishing boats randomly found a place to land, and Han Fei said to the other 2 fishing boats, "If you run out of spiritual energy, come to me to replenish it." Needless to say, He Xiaoyu's forehead flashed, and the little red sparrow appeared. He Xiaoyu said, "Little Red, I'm counting on you to track the rare spiritual fish." The 4 of them then took out their fishing rods and started fishing. He Xiaoyu, the fishing depth is 10 meters. Xiao Wushuang, 30 meters deep. Wang Baiyu, 50 meters. Everyone looked at Han Fei, and He Xiaoyu asked, "How many meters are you?" Han Fei grinned. To the end. None of them used bait, but compressed their spiritual energy into balls and concentrated them on the hooks. Very soon, He Xiaoyu's fishing pole moved first. As she retracted her fishing pole, a cold light pierced at them. He Xiaoyu seemed to be prepared. She waved her bamboo stick and slapped the swordfish into the sea. He Xiaoyu exclaimed, "Swordfish, don't we take them back?" Han Fei said, "You can have as many ordinary swordfish as you want. Now it's a competition. We only need to store rare spiritual fish in our fish cabins." Suddenly, Wang Baiyu's expression changed, which surprised everyone. Wang Baiyu's fishing depth was 50 meters, which was actually very dangerous. What would he catch? Come, everyone only saw a prawn with a huge head breaking out of the water, with a row of spikes on its head. Name Big Head Prawn, level 17, quality, regular, contains spiritual energy greater than 120 points, edible effect, long-term consumption, can increase human vitality, collectible, spiritual spike, absorbable. Han Fei said, "Big Head Prawn, an ordinary shrimp." Wang Baiyu grabbed the box next to him, patted the box, and a hammer-shaped weapon appeared. Clang! The Big Head Prawn was hammered into the water. Han Fei immediately said, "Xiao Wushuang, the fishing depth is 50 meters. Activate the illusion and simulate the spiritual energy into a rare spiritual shrimp. It must not exceed the size of a forearm." Xiao Wushuang was stunned and quickly did as he was told, saying, "Not enough spiritual energy." Han Fei pointed his finger, and a column of spiritual energy rushed straight into Xiao Wushuang's body. After only half an hour, Xiao Wushuang's eyes flashed. "Got it." As Xiao Wushuang retracted the rod, a long conch half a meter in size appeared, and a strange sound floated out of its shell, which was very pleasant to hear. Wang Baiyu was surprised. Singing conch, a rare, spiritual snail. Han Fei also saw it, and the data in front of his eyes was clear. Name singing conch. When it is introduced, it will sing to attract fish. When attacking, dozens of scimitars will pop out of the shell and cut the opponent to death. Level 17, quality rare, contains spiritual energy greater than 120 points, edible effect, long-term consumption, can beautify skincare, collectible singing conch shell, absorbable. Xiao Wushuang shouted. Wang Baiyu shield. Wang Baiyu patted the box again, and in an instant, a huge turtle shield blocked in front of Xiao Wushuang. The scimitars hit the turtle shield, making clanging sounds. At the moment when the sound was almost over, Wang Baiyu shot a hook-shaped weapon straight at the singing conch and hooked it back. Xiaoyu exclaimed, "Wow, it's really a singing conch. I want it." The singing conch powder is very expensive in the town. Han Fei wondered, "What is singing conch powder?" Xiao Wushuang smiled helplessly. "It's used to wipe the face. Girls from rich families in the town always like to buy singing conch powder to wipe their face." The corner of Han Fei's mouth twitched. Is there even cosmetics here? Did they catch a bunch of cosmetics by cooperating with each other? Xiaoyu was so happy. Not far away, Xiang Nan said in surprise. Did they catch the first rare Fei so soon? It's a singing conch. Jia Tong added, I know. It's very valuable. It is said that a small bottle of singing conch powder costs dozens of mid-quality pearls, and it can't be bought even if you have money. On the white fishing boat, Xiao Wushuang looked at Han Fei strangely. Han Fei, why did you ask me to dive 50 meters after you caught the big-headed shrimp? Han Fei replied, it's not hard to guess. Maybe the big-headed shrimp, a creature with strong chewiness, chased after the singing conch. It bit Wang Baiyu's hook because it couldn't catch the singing conch. Wow, is that so? Han Fei changed the topic. This is called experience. You won't understand. Han Fei asked. Wang Baiyu, what's wrong with your box? Where did you get such a big shield? Wang Baiyu said lightly. It's an armorist's unique talent, a space box, but can only store weapons and will reject other things. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Interesting, it also has its own space. Suddenly, Xiaoyu pointed at Han Fei's fishing rod and said, Han Fei, it's hooked. Han Fei glanced at it and said casually, don't worry. Xiaoyu asked, it's already hooked. Why don't you worry? It doesn't feel like a rare spiritual fish. I'll let it swim for a while. Everyone, Han Fei was different from them. One of the 3 skills attached to the second level of void fishing was the winding snake technique, which simulated the movement of fish on the bottom of the sea with spiritual energy. However, Xiaoyu and the others didn't know that Han Fei was actually fishing. There were not only rare spiritual fish on the bottom of the sea, but also a large number of ordinary fish. Han Fei naturally wouldn't let ordinary fish bite the bait, so he kept fishing. Suddenly, Han Fei felt that he was hooked. He froze for a moment, and then suddenly pulled the rod. Wang Baiyu shield. Wang Baiyu was stunned. I haven't even started fishing for the second time, and you want my shield again? Wang Baiyu immediately raised his shield to block in front of Han Fei, and the next moment, a swift squid was pulled into the sky. Wang Baiyu muttered, shit. Xiao Wushuang shouted, Xiaoyu, get down. Pooh! Half a minute later, Wang Baiyu's face was all black. You didn't even tell me anything and just asked me for a shield. I gave you my F*King shield, but my face was covered with black ink. Han Fei scratched his belly awkwardly. Well, I didn't expect it to be a swift squid. Wang Baiyu looked serious. It seems that I should prepare 2 shields next time. Xiaoyu said, we're so fast. We've already caught 2 rare Feis. On the other 2 boats, Xiang Nan and Jia Tong were speechless. Is this luck? How long has it been since the singing snail was hooked? 30 seconds? Half a day later, Han Fei caught a total of 4 rare Feis. The other 2 boats caught a total of 1, which Han Fei deliberately lured over with the winding snake technique. Han Fei complained in his heart. It's better to catch them in the water. He had fed the nine-tailed mantis shrimp hundreds of rare creatures in the past 100 years. He knew how to catch rare creatures very well. He Xiaoyu asked, "There are no rare spiritual fish in the past 2 hours. Should we go somewhere else?" Han Fei nodded. "Okay." Just when they were about to retract their fishing rods, Han Fei suddenly frowned. "Wait a minute." Han Fei vaguely saw a lightning crab pinch He Xiaoyu's fishing line. He thought it was just a coincidence and was about to catch this lightning crab. But then the lightning crab turned around and pinched Xiao Wushuang's fishing line. Spiritual beast? Read 2.